Oh, oh, I see your screen just, like, flickering back and forth between the desktop and the video. Here, Control Alt Delete. Oh, there we go. Oh, wait, we're live, I think. Yeah, they can hear me. Okay, anyone that can hear me, hello, hello. Oh my god. SOS. T-Dread's computer flowed? Froze. He's I can hear him right now, but I don't think you guys can. TD's been abducted. I don't think so. Oh, your stream is so like oh,
Okay. Wait, perhaps.
someone said ooh unwithered, hit it with a stick. Ouch.
Okay. I think I'm back.
Oh, maybe.
Why is
Maybe
it so
T-Dreads is back.
laggy, bro? I have a Sigma
Oh.
computer. It should not be happening. Okay, here we go. Well, let's
Yeah,
try
it
this
sounds
for
like
let's try this. Here, we'll try this
something.
for a test. Here, guys, listen to this.
I've heard there was some secret lore that Cawthon wrote.
Oh, you can hear the chubler.
I'm
I don't know if
sure,
that's
but you don't even read the books now, do you? Well, heed my tales, I'll tell them quick. The missing kids, there was a sixth, and in the Talbot files, his name was Andrew. Andrew's canon. Andrew's canon. Andrew's canon. Andrew's in the game. 1280. 1280. Well, the theory's good, but you need more proof. Well, look no further than the man in room 1280, would you? The kid in there, their mask is green, and no, their name's not Cassidy. The vengeful spirit's name, well, it was Andrew. Andrew's canon. Andrew's canon. Andrew's canon. Andrew's in the game. 1280. Well, Scott he showed and Tom the lore. He wrote of Fright and Eleanor. But now that Tails is dead, there is no proof, huh? Well, into the pit has its own game. The six kids there, Andrew again. It's been shown that Fright's is canon, Andrew-luia. Andrew's canon. Andrew's canon. He's not Cassidy. Andrew's canon. He's not Cassidy. Andrew's in the games. Maybe Scott, he changed the lore. He's Scott con many times before. But Andrew is still canon. And there's proof now. And it doesn't come from Fazbear Fright. The interactive.
Thank you, Mio. The game line.
Return
To the pit has saved us, Andrew-luia. Andrew's canon. Andrew. Andrew's canon. Andrew's canon. Andrew's in the game. Andrew's canon. All right. Hello, Chuds. How are you Chuds doing today? I've had quite a week, chat. My week has been a little bad. I had let's see, last Monday, my car broke down permanently, so I had to buy a new car. And then the day after, I had to go to the emergency room for a emergency surgery that if I didn't get, I would have permanently lost parts of my body. So, that would have sucked. However, hey, did the hospital have a digital alarm clock? They sure as hell did not. They sure as hell had no digital. And I was there for a long time, so I know.
He knows the lore. Yeah.
So for the last, like, 8 days, I've just been in bed on narcotics, so that's why I haven't been active at all. But I'm feeling well enough to,
you could have checked in, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm feeling well enough to, I'm feeling well enough for reaction slop, though. Reaction slop, I think I can handle. So, yeah. Alright, I've gotten a lot of, requests to watch this video. It's by nickolops, and it's FNAF 4, Let's Finally Open the Box. So... This is this person's first FNAF theory, first video on their channel. Thank you for the well wishes, Chet. So yeah, go ahead and like the stream so it gets promoted in the algorithm and we get $1 billion. And let's do some investigation into the freaking box. And if you guys want to hit a like on the original video or a comment, it's of course T-Dread's girlfriend. Thank you.
Here to welcome you back.
Yeah. All right.
No need to fear, your baby girl
Let's
is
continue. My right ear.
Hello.
My right ear is loving it. Oh, there we go.
Welcome to my unboxing video. If you're a FNAF fan, you're almost certainly familiar with the box. The ending stinger of FNAF 4 that went completely unsolved for over 10 years now. Please take a moment to appreciate the abject horror of the fact that FNAF 4 came out over a decade ago. The final reward of FNAF 4 was a seemingly random box with no way to open it. Everyone could tell it was important since you had to go through the hell of Night 7 to get it. Nobody could figure out what was inside it. About a month after the release of FNAF 4, on August 24th, Scott Cawthon made a post to Steam talking about the then upcoming Halloween update. In this post, he discussed the box and why he chose not to reveal its contents to the fans.
It's true.
Now I want to talk about what won't be included. The box.
Good call, Withered.
When I released the first
Withered
game
knew my
over a
headphones
year
were on
ago,
backwards.
I was amazed at how quickly everyone found every bit of lore and story. Then the same happened with Part 2. Fans and YouTubers dug in and found everything. Game Theory did an incredible video on Part 2, getting almost everything right. Then Part
Getting almost everything right.
What does that mean, Scott?
Yeah. You see, the purple guy was the phone guy.
3 came out, and once again, the story was uncovered by the community. It seemed that there was nothing I could hide. But then I released Part 4, and somehow no one, not a single person, found the pieces. The story remains completely hidden. I guess most people assumed that I filled the game with random Easter eggs this time. I didn't. What's in the box? It's the pieces put together. But the bigger question is, would the community accept it that way? The fact that the pieces have remained elusive this time strikes me as incredible and special. A fitting
like how the text box is just slowly moving up.
Because of that, I have decided that maybe some
no,
things
come
are
back!
best left
No!
forgotten forever. In the years since, the story has seemingly completely left the box behind, with Scott himself admitting that even he isn't sure what's inside it anymore, much to the annoyance of the fans.
Is that true?
So what Scott said was the box used to contain a story idea or a story path, or at least it was like the kind of the unpaved road, right? Like he had a certain idea of what might be in the box, but the way he writes, he sort of just leaves little threads that he can expand further, which makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So what happened was whatever about 4 changed, or FNAF World or whatever, changed his perspective on the series. And so he went in a different direction, and the box, whatever ID he had for it, was no longer relevant. And over time, it's not that he forgot what was in there.
Yeah.
When he said, like, I can't find it again, what he meant was, I don't think I'll be able to write the story to give it relevance, because the thing that it was going to be doesn't exist anymore. And that over time it has changed, but there's nothing really even there, because I don't know what to put in the box, because whatever I was going to put into it is completely irrelevant.
Wait.
Which is so crazy.
Wait, that's true. Okay, all right, let's continue.
The biggest thing that everybody has been begging me for this interview when I announced it is the box. That is, everybody just wants to know anything about
Chat,
it.
you never change. You never change.
It's the biggest mystery out of the whole 10 years of FNAF, I would say. Yep. Maybe Midnight Motorist is number 2. But yeah, I'd say the box is the biggest mystery that everybody wants. Like, even a tiny snippet of
we're learning about the box.
Help.
Okay. Well, I can try to give somewhat of an answer to that, even though it might not be extremely satisfying for a lot of people. So I would encourage people to turn off the interview if they don't want an answer that they might not be happy with. But whenever I'm making these games, there are a lot of things that are in my head that are just flowing ideas, and when I have them and put them there, it's the first half of something. It's like a string or rope just like reaching out, and I know that what's there on the other end is there. I trust that it's there. I know that it's there. And then whenever I progress forward, the rest of that just reappears. The rest of it appears and just fits into place perfectly. That's all my games have been made. I feel that there's something there, and I make the roads to get there for that to be revealed. But then sometimes when things do progress, the roads aren't always the same roads as the ones that had been planned before. And so what that means is, even though at the time something was definitely there, something was definitely reaching out to be there, and I could feel that it was there, the progression of the story didn't go there. And so those strings never got pulled on, and those and the other half of that idea remained in the ether, remained in my subconscious. All that to say, there is something in the box, but I never pursued it, and I don't know if I can find it again. And I think that that's the best answer that I can possibly give for that.
This simple...
Let me know if you've felt this too, Unwithered. One of the things that I've worried about when making videos, this isn't really about this is just me personally. I'm like, at this point in making all these FNAF videos, I'm like, what is the best way to... Because sometimes I worry to show big in-game cutscenes.
Never goon.
Because I'm like, what if everyone's seen this a million times, and then I lose my retention? My retention graph dips because like, oh, I know what they're gonna say here, so they skip that.
Yeah.
Do you have any? Do you know?
Want to say you.
I don't know.
So I literally deal with this, but on a grander level than just like clips and stuff. I deal with it on a level of like when I'm writing theories, I don't know what is supposed to be common knowledge, what is kind of common knowledge but still needs to be explained to like progress the theory. I've been dealing with this for the Cassidy video because like I sit down and I go, okay, Cassidy, we all kind of understand, oh, it's not exactly the canon version that we have in our heads, like maybe it's a bit different, how do I write about that? And then you go, okay, well, I have to establish why everyone thinks a different thing about this character. So like, oh yeah, this character, this name comes from this book, and then it's used in this other book, and then this other kid, some people think it's him, and some people think it's this other, and then like you just go into this huge rant, and it's like, yeah, most people that are watching already know this, but if you don't know this and you're watching my video, I don't want you to be fully lost.
Yeah, if you don't know what you're fucked.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
we got some donations.
So it's hard to balance that.
Okay, go ahead. Golden glitch. I'm not reading that. They use part of your name in that message though, Yuji. Part of your name isn't there?
Oh.
Yeah.
Let me see. Wait, which one? From who?
Golden glitch real $5.
Yeah.
Your surname. Okay. Wacom Sock'em says, just want to say you and Unwithered's videos and streams have always helped me during hard times through art school and medical issues. Can always look forward to your videos to make me feel better. Thanks so much. That means a lot. I try. I know Unwithered tries a lot harder than I do because his videos are actually good.
No, your videos are great. I watched your videos
nice.
before I made videos.
Yeah, I inspired you. Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. You were part of it. You were part of the wave.
You have waves?
Yeah.
Unwithered wave check. Whoa!
Yeah, a lot has changed since America.
And then Pleasure Wizard, thank you. And then Jungle Boy again. 1 year of Andrew being canon. No. What? How long has that book been out since 2018?
2018.
Yeah. 8 years of Andrew being canon. Ah. All right, let's go.
Oh wait, no. 2018 was the survival logbook in the fourth closet. So later than that, 2019.
Oh. 7 years, which is half of 14. Oh!
Let's go.
Has driven the community insane, trying to figure out what could be inside it. I and many others have spent countless hours attempting to pry this godforsaken chest open to no avail, and it seemed like no one would ever figure out what Scott had hidden inside it. But I finally did it. I figured it out. I know what's inside the box.
See, this is called a hook, guys.
I know that's a bold claim to make, but I am genuinely that confident in my answer, and hopefully by the end of this, I'll have made a compelling case for the contents of this compelling case. Now, to make this clear, I only really care about what was inside the box at the time of FNAF.
Hey, that was fire.
Release.
Don't go, ooh.
If you don't know what I mean by that, during his first interview with Dorco, Scott said
I thought you went oof.
No, I didn't put up Tish.
Okay.
Sorry, no. That
right to propose that the contents of the box have changed over time.
So now, 2 years, 3 games, and 4 books later, I think I'm finally ready to break open the locks and reveal what was supposed to be in this thing versus what actually was in the thing. Because I have reason to believe that the contents of the box have changed 3 separate times, and that now, in the wake of FNAF 6, Scott has already shown us what is inside the box.
I'm sure he'll get into it, but Scott did say this was true. So just something to point out whenever anyone's like, MatPat is so washed, MatPat sucks. I wish MatPat got strapped to a rocket and sent to the sun. He was not always off.
Yeah, I think to kind of like reiterate your kind of thought from before about using the full clip, I think usually if playing a clip is necessary, it's usually to take the most relevant like couple of sentences and string them together, like as if you were quoting them in a book. You're in an essay. What?
Donation, bro. What the hell is that?
Whoa.
That's too generous, dude.
Hate dreads. Love your stuff, man, and the people that you have on. Hope you are feeling better and keep up the great work.
Thank you so much. You didn't have to do that. It's okay. That's super generous of you. Thank you very much.
Oh.
Holy smokes. Then Mio says you truly do make things better and needed this today. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Christian. We all try to work together out here to make some good stuff. So. And reaction slop now and then. You know how it is.
Right. Well, I mean, gotta have that.
Yeah. Chat. Well, think about it. Like, it's like McDonald's. Like, it's not good food, but you gotta have it once in a while. You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes you're driving home, and you're like, you know what? I want a Big Mac right now, or so. You know, I want some nuggets.
Oh hell yeah!
My channel is like fast food. It's great. It's like sludge.
You know, obviously, I watch all the game theory videos. You know, and
yeah, and I figured
me and Matt sometimes had an antagonistic relationship back and forth. You know, I inconvenience him with my games, and sometimes he inconveniences me with his theories. You know, but it's all in good fun. You know, but I'll tell you, he did a video on that box, and he kind of said that he thinks the contents of the box changed over the years. You know, and I bet nobody gave that a whole lot of thought. But I saw that and I was like, he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. The contents of that box have changed over the years because, you know, it's for that very reason. It's because, you know, of what I was intending the game to be when it happened, and then after the reaction of it, I was like, I need to craft this into something better for the people who see this as important, and that kind of indirectly does change the content of the box. You know, it changes the contents of everything that came before. I thought that was an interesting observation on his part.
This makes sense.
Okay.
Sister locations.
He highlighted he inconveniences me with his theories. If I had to guess, I've seen a video that was like, Toby Fox is awesome and Scott Cawthon sucks. And they said that line is like, oh, he inconvenienced you because he got it right and you had to change it. I think it's the opposite. I think when Scott said MatPat inconveniences me with his theories, it's that MatPat told everyone the wrong stuff and everyone believed it.
Yeah.
So that he had to course correct damage control for MatPat.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I don't think that was something that he necessarily disliked. I think that was something that was just a consequence of how the series grew. And there was this, like, he kind of, I don't know how we refer to it, but it is this kind of back and forth relationship. And so, yeah, it's not, oh, I had to keep changing the story because he kept, you know, getting everything right and solving it. It was, the misconceptions that were kind of being spread. And it's not like MatPat's fault either. It's not like, wow, I can't believe we got it right. It's just MatPat was the kind of main voice of the community, and what he said kind of went for the first, like, 4 games, you know?
Yeah.
And I think choice theory is what changed that.
I think so.
Surrounding 4 entirely. So if the contents of the box represent the story of 4, then changing the context necessarily changes what the box contains. However, by this point, the box plotline has been abandoned almost entirely, and the box has fallen out of relevance.
Wait, that's true.
Just stick the Fredbear plush and the remote in the box, or the private room keypad, or Circus Baby, who cares, case closed. No, what I wanted to know was what was inside the box when FNAF 4 was first released. When the box mattered. Speaking for myself, the line that has driven me mad from Scott's post is when he said,
What's up, kid?
So, this is I've seen parts of this video. I haven't kind of given the whole thing a watch. My immediate thought is, because I am very curious on stuff like that as well, like what was FNAF 4 when it was coming out. Like, I don't think it's necessarily, you know, helpful to the modern lore, but I think it's a very interesting question to look back, like, okay, if we can figure out what Scott was actually trying to say, what could we see about, like, what's maybe changed and how he kind of moves things around. But what he said about the box was almost like it was an unwritten, like, or uncompleted teaser. It's like in the Marvel films, some of the early ones have, like, post-credit scenes that don't actually lead anywhere. And it's just like a post-credit scene that they never picked up on. It's like, that's what I think the box was. It was literally a post-credit scene.
MCU.
That just didn't go anywhere.
Well, unless you think FNAF World is the box. Because then it would have been a teaser for the next game.
Yeah, but then I think Scott would have... Like, I think when Scott was talking about the box, he's like, oh yeah, whatever was in the box, he would have gone like, okay, you know, I did open the box, and people, you know, some people have noticed that, but it was never really what I was planning when the original game. He said, like, he'll never go there because he doesn't think he can find it, so he didn't open it. Whatever his idea was never kind of came to fruition, which I think then to try and speculate what it was in FNAF 4, I'm curious to see if he's going to try and, like, predict what the sequel would have been, or how he's going to handle it.
Thank you, Laura. Yeah, the Death Note audiobook, that was my first ever video. That video's chapped. I was, like, eating my microphone during that because I didn't know the proper distance to be away from it. So I was like, chapter 1. I had no idea what was going on. Yeah, so what I admire about this is I have not even attempted to be like, this is what was in the box during FNAF 4. I have no fucking clue. I have no idea. I have videos talking about the lore of FNAF 4 at the time, but I just talk about the crying child and stuff and the dead kids. I don't even touch the box.
Of course. Yeah. But that's what I mean. Like, based on what he said, I just don't know if we can guess, because it would be like, yeah, it was going to be a character named Benjamin, and he was going to be the next main character of FNAF 5, and then he changed his mind. So Benjamin never came to be.
Mm-hmm. All right, Jarvis, resume the video.
So I'm curious to see if
in the box, it's the pieces put together. Due to what this line implies, it was supposed to be solvable. Not just that, it was meant to be solvable.
Is that the case?
What's in the box?
FNAF 4 was...
What's in the box? It's the pieces put together. Not a single person found the pieces. So the box is the pieces put together, but no one found those pieces. So that would imply the pieces are there to be found.
But I think the way he's speaking about it is that the box would be opened once people figured out FNAF 4, and then what was in the box, the actual thing that the box contained, would be a setup for the follow-up. But because we didn't figure out 4, we never opened the box. So the box itself contains something different. It's the real question is, like, what is FNAF 4 about? And then that would have opened the box. But what was in the box, I don't think he put anything in there yet. I think the box was empty, and he was like, "Oh, I know what I'll come up with something to tease the next game, but I don't really know what it'll."
Okay, I see what you're getting at.
From just the contents in base FNAF 4 alone. The way this line makes it sound, if you just dissect and reassemble FNAF 4, you'd know what was inside the box. I was thinking about this a lot, mainly because it was still my biggest hang-up with the FNAF storyline. It didn't sit right with me that such an overt part of the story was just left unsolved and subsequently abandoned. And then, it hit me. I figured it out. I realized that the solution was right in front of our face the whole time. The solution was hidden in plain sight. Scott had handed us the answer, and it was all there in his Steam post. The implication that it was solvable wasn't the only thing hidden between the lines here. This post was telling us exactly what is inside by providing us with a criteria. So with that in mind, let's read Scott's
Game
post
theory
again
was in the
and
box.
extract the criteria from it. Now I want to talk about what won't be included.
No, it's drifting up again.
He's addressing the box directly. Labeling this feels a bit redundant, but you know, just so it's clear, everything he's about to say is relevant to the box. You know, when I released the first game over a year ago, I was amazed at how quickly everyone found every bit of lore and story. Then the same happened with Part 2. Fans and YouTubers dug in and found everything. Game Theory did an incredible video on Part 2, getting almost everything right. Then Part 3 came out, and once again, the story was uncovered by the community. It seemed that there was nothing I could hide. Here he talks about how the fans solved the other 3 games really quickly. This might just seem like nostalgic reminiscing to a year ago, but remember, this is relevant to the box. Why would he bring our attention to our past theorizing efforts while discussing the big mystery of FNAF 4? Because the same methods hold true. He's encouraging us to apply the same type of investigation to 4 as we did for 1, 2, and 3.
I would say that makes sense. Yeah. I would say preceding it with saying, well, you guys found all the lore in the other games. That to me that makes sense. What about you, UG?
So the way I think, and I think I'm seeing some people in the chat say the same thing. My interpretation of Scott's words, and that's not to say that it's the correct interpretation, but the way I take Scott's words in that Steam post is not that, okay, the reason that the box is not open is because you didn't figure out what was in the box. Because if you think about the way those games were made and how they were teased, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You play FNAF 4, you beat the game, you get to the end, the crying child dies, I will put you back together, some things are best left forgotten for now. What does that mean? What is this box? What the hell? And then Game Theory eventually makes their video and they solve FNAF 4. FNAF 4 was about, Memory Victim or God Victim, or it was something else. And it was, we never figured out what it was, but that was what we were supposed to solve. And then the next day, there's an update to FNAF 4, and suddenly the box opens, and there's like a little robot kid in there, and everyone goes, "What? Oh my god, what's that about?" And then the next game is about whatever was in the box. I'm just saying robot kid because it could be anything. It could have been a new animatronic. It could have been some sort of memento from something. It could have been something from Fazbear's Fright. We don't know because it would have been a teaser for the next game. What was in the box was a teaser. What opened the box would have been us solving the whole story of 4. That's my interpretation.
What Scott has to be saying here is that. It's literally what he's saying. It's what he's saying is that. Nobody at the time he made this post, nobody uncovered the lore that would open the box. Basically, is what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. What's in the box? It's the pieces put together. That means when you put together the pieces, the box opens and you get to see what it is.
Yeah. Unless it was like a confirmation thing where it's like every time they guessed something right, the box was like, yep, that was
right.
Something like that. Yeah.
I mean, that could have been something as well. Like that's where I'm with the idea, and I think it's a well presented argument for it. I just personally don't see it as that. I don't see that being what Scott was trying to communicate with the Doggo interview. I just don't see that being
Universal
what he was going for.
But then I released Part 4. and somehow no one, not a single person, found the pieces. Nobody found the answer. I'll get more into this when we talk about...
Nobody's got noticed.
You know. But it's important to keep this in mind. At the time of this post being written, nobody was right. If a theory existed before this post, it is automatically disqualified from consideration. Scott also maintained this stance years later.
Hey,
but again,
thank you so much.
I'll get to that.
Pablo.
Just remember, theories prior
Pablo
to the
Raw
24th
Bears.
of August are automatically wrong.
Right.
The story remains completely hidden. This is the big one. Here he straight up says that nobody knows the true story of FNAF 4.
That is an interesting one. The story remains completely hidden. So yeah, not the box, the story. So that's that makes sense. Okay, so nobody figured out the story. So that means that we knew the story of FNAF 1, we knew the story of FNAF 2, we knew the story of FNAF 3, right? Security guard goes to pizzeria, scary monsters. Security guard goes to another pizzeria where a kid died outside. The guard worked there the previous week. Purple guy has become an animatronic, and he's coming back to Fazbear Frights, and he disassembled all the animatronics, and happiest stays all the souls free. 4, nobody knows what the fuck's actually happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think at this point, I keep asking this question every time this post comes up. This was before Dream Theory, right? This is before the
I
whole
always
Dream Theory
forget. Thing. Gibby, do you remember? Was that post before or after Dream Theory?
I think it's before. So he just said March, right? So Dream
I thought
Theory
it was August.
Or
am I stupid? Don't answer that.
I thought he said March, no? Yeah.
It's August. It was
March.
August. It was August.
Sorry, August. Sorry. But yeah, Dream Theory was December. Oh, I was looking at the Monday. That's why I thought March.
So is that after?
Yeah. So it was. This was before.
8 months before
Dream Theory. This post.
This was 8 months
August
before Dream
to
Theory.
December.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
No.
4. Sorry. What am I saying? I was going up a year.
Yeah.
I was going backwards. Sorry, I was going backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. 4 months.
So
okay.
Dream Theory had. Yeah. So I think him saying that people haven't found the pieces is interesting because I think Dream Theory found all the right pieces. I just don't think it put it together correctly.
Yeah.
Whereas he was like, nobody's putting together that all this stuff is out of place, right? Like everyone thinks it's the Bite of 87, but they're not finding the pieces that say it's not.
Holy smokes! 5 more memberships from Pablo. Thanks, Pablo. Pablo's the goat. Can we get a W, Pablo? Thanks, Jet.
Oh, yeah, Matt references the post in the video.
It's muted.
People are saying
sorry, Jet.
Wrong. This is probably the biggest revelation from this post. The common understanding of FNAF 4 is just flat out incorrect. Whatever is in the box would have revealed this and changed our collective understanding
He was
of
talking about how the story.
I guess most people assumed that I filled the game with random Easter eggs this time.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Okay.
The random...
Do you want to say something about this? Holy 20 memberships! Oh my goodness, what the frick? What is happening? Thanks, Jet.
People show their love. They're happy with it. But yeah, I think where I differ and where he differs is he's looking at it as people would solve FNAF 4. Yes, that would open the box, but what was in the box would solve what the story of 4 was, right? So he's like, when you open when you figure out 4, the box opens and it just basically confirms what you were thinking. It just goes like, yep, that's the right one, and now it's over. But I think it would be, you got it right. Now there's a teaser, open up the box.
Yeah. If the crying child's guts were in the box, that'd be crazy. Professor Griswold, that'd be, I don't know if Scott would do that, guys. It would make me uncomfy, therefore it's impossible.
Uncomfy. Guts box theory.
Is anyone else uncomfy? Can we cancel in with her truth, please? Okay. Keep going. Yes, we cancel TD Reads. He doesn't even read, so he's a liar.
He definitely has not read once.
I'm waiting for the donation messages to stop. There's so many. And he's the greatest writer on earth. Yeah, for some reason it takes the same audio channel as the video does, even though I thought I separated them, but I guess I'm a fraud. Fraud dreads.
Gibby thinks that the thing that we didn't solve was that Mike Schmidt was the Foxy bro.
Yeah. What I'm wondering is, not a single person found the pieces. Story is completely hidden. He has to be referring to a deeper story than the surface level one, because anyone with comprehension can be like, it's about a kid who goes about his week and gets chomped by Fredbear. Yeah, there has to be something. So we think that the something underlying was God victim.
I think so. It's not to such a complicated degree as was kind of explained, with all the field and fright stuff, because obviously that didn't exist at the time. But like the idea that he caused events in the future, I think was the idea at the time, along with other stuff. Like you could still say Mike Schmidt is the brother, and you could say the puppet is the plush or whatever. There's a couple of different options, but the idea that he was this influencing victim was the kind of hidden story that people didn't figure out.
Play the video, chat when they learned about fair use. Guys, I'm just going to play the video. I'm going to leave. See you later, guys. Bye. Okay. All right, let's go. I might have to turn off the audio for the donation messages just so it doesn't like explode everybody's ears. Here we go. There it is. There we go. I'll just read them myself. Okay, here we go. Wait, it's muted. T-Dreads, fix it, please. Please. I will still be reading donations, chat, but just so the video doesn't get interrupted every 5 seconds.
What's in the box? That's just straight up what he's saying here. What's in the box? It's the pieces put together. I know I already mentioned that this line is saying that it is definitively solvable, but I want to extrapolate from that a little. I propose that by virtue of being solvable, the solution has to be simple. If you've ever played D&D or any other tabletop RPG, you'll know what I mean.
I'm not sure if that's...
Yeah.
I think there's plenty of complex things that are...
Well, the issue with the preposition is the fact that the problem of the whole box thing was that we didn't get the simple part. Like, saying it's simple...
Yeah. I get what you mean. I mean, my thought process of that...
complicating it.
Yeah, I understand. Maybe could work on phrasing, though, because like I'm thinking, like, imagine walking into a police station and be like, oh, you caught the murderer? Must have been pretty simple, then. Yeah. Must have been pretty easy. Because if you could do it, that means it had to be easy or simple to do. I think it can be complex. I think there are... I mean, I think this... Like, even just the way Remnant and Agony operate and stuff isn't really, like, simple. It's a lot of stuff in this franchise.
I guess he's saying simple not in terms of it being easy to solve, but simple in terms of the reasoning to deduce it needs to be, like, something that Scott could intend us to...
Yeah, not like, you need to rewind 3 days ago and look at the gum under your desk at school and the bacteria to solve that it was actually Nightmare Fredbear. Yeah, I know what you mean. It has to be the means to get there. The means to get there have to be realistic.
Yeah.
Okay. Professor Griswold says, bro, I saw the one you should not have killed was Toy Shink, and I thought I brain blasted something because toys. Toy Chica. Scott intended it all along.
He knew.
You could have a table of intelligent adults playing, and it'll still take them a full 2-hour session to figure out that to open the big door, they need to take the glowing gem from the pedestal and put it on the other pedestal in the other room. If the contents of the box are anything more than a single tangible object with an immediately apparent intrinsic meaning, it's too complicated. A lot of guesses from the time fall into this trap, just filling the box with tons of random objects with very little meaning. No one in their right mind could expect you to guess that the box contains a security guard badge, and a family photo, and a flashlight, and a gasoline can, and the figurines from the FNAF 4 minigame, and a new car! and My Will to Live, and Freddy's Hat, and the milk your dad left for 12 years ago. A solution like that could only be found by employing infinite monkey theorem. Remember KISS. Keep it simple, dumbass. But the bigger question is, would the community accept it that way? Oh boy, this one. You probably know why this specific line fills me with dread, but again,
with what?
We will get to
it's me.
Okay. Yeah, I think again, it's just, I would say, I don't think it makes sense that Scott would be like, okay, figure out the contents of the box and then I'll open it and just the stuff that you said was in there will be in there. You know what I mean? Like, I think even if the answer was like as a conclusion, you still, I don't think it makes sense to say Scott would have opened the box when we figured out what was in it already, because that's that's kind of like a weird way to do that as a reveal. It's like kind of anticlimactic, you know. If Game Theory did a video and was like, I know that in the box there's going to be a security badge and a photo and a this, and then you open the box and that was what was in there, everyone would go, oh, okay. I guess, yeah, sure. Okay, great. The end.
Dr. Grisman is saying Faden's video is good. I'll have to check that out off stream.
Yeah,
because this is a long. This is a long video, so we'll be plenty busy.
Holy moly, I did not realize how long it was.
Pat plays. He didn't give a personal story. Extra credits vibes. I've never seen an extra credits video. Does that make me a terrible person? I've heard they're a good, like, funny channel or something.
Extra credits.
I think they make like animations and stuff about. I don't know. I've just heard of the channel though. All right. Anyways.
Oh, I've seen these. Yeah.
This was most people's takeaway from the post, and it is a vital clue. The contents of the box are controversial. If the box was open, the story would have taken a divisive turn. The fact that the pieces have remained elusive this time strikes me as incredible and special. A fitting conclusion in some ways, and because of that, I have decided that maybe some things are best left forgotten forever. This is a callback to the line that appears above the box. Perhaps some things are best left forgotten for now, and thus it reveals our final clue. The contents of the box are painful. Whatever is inside the box is something that someone
he's reading in narrative intent into it's best left forgotten forever.
Yeah, so he's saying,
but I think you don't need to go that far. I think just giving the in-game text, some things are best left forgotten for now, I think that's enough to be like, oh, it's probably related to,
reveals our final clue. The contents of the box are painful. Whatever is inside the box is something that someone would rather forget. And so, we have our 7-part criteria for figuring out the contents of the box.
So you're saying that, Chad saying it's guts.
Can be found using tried and true methods. 2. All theories from before the post are invalid. 3. The contents of the box fundamentally change the story of 4 as we know it. 4. The seemingly random Easter eggs are the key to figuring out the solution. 5. It's solvable from the contents in base FNAF 4 alone, and therefore, it has to be simple. 6. The contents of the box are controversial. And finally, 7. The contents of the box are painful. Now, some people may think, Nick, you're reading too much into a Steam post. But am I, though? There is a precedent for Scott hiding lore in his Steam posts. That's how we found out Springtrap's name. It was hidden in one of his posts via repeated letters that spelled out, My name is Springtrap. And he even brings our attention to how we solved the lore in the past in this very post. So I think reading into it like this is valid. Now we have a criteria for finding the contents of the box. We just have to find something that fits. But before we get on to doing that, we gotta address the elephant in the room. And I ain't talking about my good friend Orville. Before we move on, we have to talk about Dream.
Holy pig!
Yeah, that. MatPat's infamous Dream Theory. For some reason, there is still a sizable chunk of the fandom that insists that Dream Theory was canon, and Scott changed it due to the backlash against it.
850
I'll be
viewers, by the way.
frank with you.
Holy pig.
Dream Theory was never canon. It literally doesn't make sense. So just in case there are any Dream Theory truthers in the crowd tonight, let's go through everything wrong with Dream Theory so we can finally move past it.
Guts Theory is the greatest theory ever, so why not? Oh, I agree. Whoever made Guts Theory is probably really awesome and super cool. But I just think it'd be kind of funny if like the box opened and it was just like a bunch of intestines. Like, oh, okay.
Bunch of guts.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's that.
Jesus Christ.
MadPat's Dream Theory proposes that the only real events in the series are the minigames between the nights of FNAF 4, and that everything else is a dream in the crying child's head. The events of FNAF 1, 2, and 3 never actually happened, they were just dreams, and the nights of FNAF 4 are crying child's dying coma nightmares. Okay, side tangent, I don't want to have to keep calling him Crying Child or CC, so we're going to call him Dave, because that's his name. I'm not going to pretend the survival logbook wasn't solved. His name is Dave. Go watch Hyperdroid's video about it. It's really good.
You said Evan, I would have had to punch a hole through the monitor. I would have went...
I know, I would have loved
For the rest of this video, I will be calling him Dave, because that is his name. Thank you for your understanding.
Thanks,
Back to the problems with
Willcare67 for
Dream
10
Theory.
memberships.
Let's go over everything
As long
that
as Withered
doesn't add
Circle
up
doesn't get
about
one,
this.
everything's good.
MadPat's key evidence for this theory is that the end of night jingle in FNAF 4 is different than in the first 3 games. In the other games, it's a grandfather clock chime.
Well, as we all know, including me, every hospital has a digital alarm clock. Every single one.
Everyone.
I dare you to find one that doesn't.
We see outside the FNAF 4 bedroom, while in 4 it's a digital alarm clock. His conclusion from this is that FNAF 1 through 4...
What would I know? You sense my Riz powers are low? How dare you? How dare you? How do you think I got unwithered in here? I was like, hey, Unwithered, you looking good. Come along.
Take place in his bedroom, hence being woken up by the grandfather.
They said that you're a Rizzler, so there you go. At least you're cool.
Me? Oh.
Yeah.
Guys.
At least you're worth keeping around.
Father clock outside, while 4's nights take place at a hospital. Aside from this not being a grandfather clock, he was onto something with the chimes being different, but his line of reasoning was, hospitals don't have grandfather clocks, but do have digital alarm clocks.
Are you ready to have your mind
blown? It's true!
Listen to the sound that you hear
what
at the end of
every
then? Night of the first 3 games. Andrew's canon! Unwithered's a child! A grandfather clock, chiming the same song every time. Why would the end of my shift in an office be signaled by a grandfather clock chime? It wouldn't. Unless I was asleep, dreaming in my room with a grandfather clock right outside my door. Just like the layout of the crying child's house we see in the FNAF 4 minigames. 6 o'clock a.m., time to get up. But now let's look at FNAF 4. How does each night end there? A beeping alarm clock. Why? Because we're no longer in the crying child's house. We're in a hospital, trying to recover from being bitten. Hence the pills, IV, and flower Easter eggs. No hospital has a grandfather clock, but they're all equipped with the generic digital alarm clock. This, to me, was the missing link, the piece of evidence that took this theory from convenient explanation for a lot of the game's weirdness to definitive proof that this is what Scott intended.
Which... What?
Me when I turn over in my hospital bed and see a digital alarm clock, so I low-key know that I'm in FNAF 4. So I low-key know Nightmare Fredbear's coming to get me.
Bro, never.
This is really weak evidence. As many medical professionals pointed out in his comments, hospitals don't have alarm clocks. Generally, the ICU doesn't make their comatose child patients wake up at 6 a.m. because that would be mental.
And how would you know? Can you link a study? That's what I thought.
I really have no idea where he got this from, and much less why he seems to think this was one of the best
anecdotal evidence. Isn't the clock in the FNAF 4 gameplay a cuckoo clock? I think the one in the hallway in the night gameplay.
Yeah, in the minigames, it's a grandfather clock. Yeah,
moments from his entire theorizing career.
To me, one of the best is the clue that we missed in FNAF 4, which is the grandfather clock reveal. I think that's awesome. It's also one of those things too, where like we try to avoid dream theory, coma theory, and time travel stuff just because it's so ridiculous and easy to layer on so many of the times, and it feels cheap. And so when we do it, it's only because it feels right. Like, it feels like that is the right direction to go, which is why the FNAF 4 Dream Theory, that's one that I'm like, this is just it. This was intended. Like, sorry.
Look, genuinely, I like MadPat. I'm not trying to shit on him.
Hey, listen, let him have this one. Okay? Hey, we all need a little something, okay? we all need to win once or twice, you know what I'm saying?
Without him, I wouldn't have even gotten into FNAF. But
we almost have 1,000 live viewers.
Don't you have an entire series watching MatPat and being like, "What an idiot"?
I would never say MatPat was wrong about something. How crazy? That's blasphemy.
Never.
Name one time T-Dress has criticized someone's theory. Exactly. Never.
Seriously, like, what was this theory?
2. Anyway, back to reacting to this
canon.
Anyway, back to criticizing this guy's theory.
Happiest Day to me. It seems pretty clear from the layout of both minigames that Happiest Day is meant to be an inverse of the Fredbear Bite incident, making the goal of the minigame to give Dave the birthday he was robbed of, setting his soul free. We all agree on this, right? Right. Okay, so please explain how Dave's soul can be set free if he...
Yeah, can someone make the chart where it's Soy Jack, Dream Theory versus Chad, God Victim? Thank you.
He's not dead yet. If 3 takes place in his dreams pre-amateur lobotomy, how does he free his own soul before he even gets bitten? 3. How do you put Dream Theory in a box? If the box contains something intended to reveal the twist of the story, how do you succinctly summarize Dream Theory and put it in a box? What could be inside the box that would make the average FNAF fan go, "Ah yes, a Dream Theory"? Genuinely, what is in the box under Dream Theory? A diagnosis, a tiny Scott holding a sign that says it was all a dream, a cloud, what? Dream Theory provides an explanation, quality.
Well, because I think what he's saying is that the box is supposed to be the confirmation that you were right about.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying that's what I disagree. Is I don't think that Scott, based on the way because you can see it so clearly, like it's a teaser. To open up when we figured out 4, it opens up and it teases 5. It's got something in it, and we go, oh, not I guess MatPat was right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, MatPat's in the box.
Yeah.
Next to the membership meal.
Corresponding to nearly everything except the box. 4. Scott has made it repeatedly clear that Dream Theory was never correct. He said in his first Doko interview that 4 has remained unsolved.
Kind of like with Final Fantasy 3, where there was something I was kind of left unsatisfied with.
Mm-hmm.
The reaction to Final Fantasy 4, and the box is tied into this, very, very closely. I don't think that people weren't really happy from a lore standpoint, even though I got the jump scares kind of right.
Yeah.
And the box really fit into that lore aspect. I felt that it had all gone kind of it had strayed too far from an actual story in a way. Me just saying that, I'm going to get torn apart for even saying that, because people are going to look at what I've ended up with and they're like, and you call this a story? But by Final Fantasy 4, it kind of went a little too broad. It cast its net too wide for interpretation. I guess that's the best way to say it. It went too broad for interpretation, and that left people unsatisfied. Because whereas the other ones, there were mysteries.
It was all caused by a godchild.
That's what I'm saying,
that would
guys.
be kind of unsatisfying. That would be kind of too open to interpretation.
No, I think Scott's putting it a great way. I think FNAF 4 is very loosely just like... Basically what he's saying is what he gives you can interpret in 5 billion ways. That's why no one got it.
Yeah,
probably.
well, I think the idea of like agony and all that as a concept, it makes sense if 4 was God Victim, right? But this kind of very proto simple version of it where, the kid, because ghost magic can like affect reality and it like affects the building and makes bad stuff happen. That makes sense, for him to be on this like it's too loose, right? Because that's what he's kind of saying, is it's too open to interpretation. I think it makes sense that agony and remnant and the field, all of that stuff kind of evolves when he's like, okay, well, I need to ground it and I'm going to put science fiction in it, but I still like that idea of like stuff changing because of bad emotions and memories. So I'm going to make that, and he's already kind of dealing with that in the Silver Eyes. So really, making that solid then when he comes around to Frights, I think makes sense.
I'm going to be so surprised if we see the box in either Ruin 2 or the Fredbear's game or whatever. That'll be, I'll be very shocked if he revisits it.
So here's the question, right? If we did open it, the question would be, did he find a way back to the original idea, or did he change it and come up with a new one to put in the box? Like, just say in 4, he was like, oh, when the plush says put you back together, that means make a robot child copy of you,
right? That was his idea, and that's what 5 was going to be about.
I think for the box to not be a retcon, for the box to not be the retcon, it has to be the same idea is represented by the box. It could be different stuff.
Well, yeah, but like Scott Conn, right? Like we can't say. But I'm just saying, I think it's an interesting creative exercise that if just say we do open up the box in Ruin 2 and it's got the mimic in it, it's got the little baby David mimic in it, and then we go, okay, so Scott originally had the idea for this like robot kid to be in there. He never really knew where to put that in, but then he found his way back to it with the whole mimic storyline and making it about David. And like, you could see that being the logic. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen, but it could happen. I could see it happening. You open it up and the little mimic from the ending in the bedroom crawls out, and he gets out of the box and he's all broken and glitchy and stuff.
Yeah. Who's a worse writer, Scott Cawthon or the Duffer Brothers? Probably the Duffers, because Stranger Things was actually good and then fell off, whereas FNAF Movie 2 from the start, 5 minutes in, me and Wither looked at each other in the theater like, oh, it's about to be chopped. so
I think it was when
the Duffers dropped the ball. Scott was just like bowling from the beginning. So
4
ended
up
just
in
FNAF, like it's not. It's I think it's out of place in terms of the kind of the general.
Too mysterious to the point where you really couldn't, there was no real way to figure out what was going on. And a lot of people unsatisfied, and like I said, with jumping from 3 to 4. I knew that I had to go in and straighten that out. It's like, people aren't really happy with this. I need to make another game. I need to kind of ground this again, not necessarily in reality, but I need to ground it in kind of storytelling again, and really lay this down with.
All right, come on. Come on, Scott.
What's going on.
Boxes.
This was years after MatPat's video. He wouldn't have said this if the biggest theory channel on YouTube had covered the.
By the way, chat, can we all like the video and press 14? Because we're about to hit 1,000 viewers, and if we do, I will stand up and do a little jig. I'll stand up and do a little dance.
That is crazy.
So.
Correct theory.
Unless you're one of those people who insists
that Scott keeps changing the lore just so we are always wrong because he's an asshole. In which case, don't worry, I'll address your concerns soon enough. Not only this, but Scott also apparently commented on a now deleted Reddit post about how Dream Theory should die, saying, "I know, right? Who came up with this anyway? Listen, I know the visual isn't great. We just gotta trust that the FNAF Theory wiki is telling the truth and that this post was about Dream Theory." He also made fun of Dream Theory while making Ultimate Custom Night when he gave joke descriptions.
What's up?
Sorry, just to make sure we're not, I actually take that I know who came up with this anyway, and it's probably why he deleted it. But I think the implication of that is more in support of Dream Theory, because that seems more like a joke Scott would make about himself. Like, who came up with this crap? And then even if he didn't intend, you know what I mean? I feel like it's weird for him to make that kind of comment against MatPat, but I would then say him deleting it is more likely that he kind of went, oh, that might be a bit mean, and then deleted it.
That makes sense. I missed a donation. What if Dave God victim Mike from killing him and creating a paradox? What if Dave God victim Mike from killing him? What does this mean? Because wouldn't someone have had to get bitten for him to make him bite him? My brains hurts.
Wait.
What if Dave God victim Mike from killing him? So he made Mike kill, like some Aaron Yeager shit where like he kills his own mom. But the bite victim made Michael kill him. Is what he said.
What? Why?
I don't know. I'm so confused.
Wait, who said that?
Someone in chat went, genius.
Wait. Maybe they're talking about Dave Murray was God David and made Mike kill Cece, who was like a recreation of him. Which I think would be the argument because they both die on their birthdays. So it would be like a Fate Fiona God Davidism to be like, they both die on their birthday. So whether or not it was like David Murray wringing his hands going, I'm going to get this cheap copy killed.
Oh, I just spoiled Attack on Titan for someone in chat. I'm sorry.
Oh, ow.
That show's like 5 years old now, right? I think so.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I never watched it.
Well, sorry, chat. Anyways.
Just the Foxy, Phone Guy, and Nightmare Freddy on April 1st, each one making fun of a popular theory that was always wrong. Foxy was making fun of Good Guy Foxy, Phone Guy was making fun of Purple Phone Guy, and Nightmare Freddy was making fun of Dream Theory. Then there's the movie, where Mike had a book called Dream Theory, reframing the term as something entirely different. We will get back to the movie. And if Scott himself disowning the theory still hasn't convinced.
This is like the 5th time someone's told us to check out Faden's video. We will at some point then.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's you. 5. The silver bullet that kills this theory entirely. Time.
Thanks, Ariel.
So you know how I said that any theory that existed before Scott's post is automatically disqualified because he said that by then no one has solved it? Well, I just so happen to know how to search Google for results between specific date ranges. So all we gotta do is search FNAF Dream Theory, specify the date range between July 23rd, 2015 and August 24th, 2015, hit send, and wow, would you look at that! FNAF 4 is a coma-induced nightmare.
Okay, 5 likes. That like this got really, you know what I mean? This you can't. My webcam's covering it on stream. This post has 5 likes.
This is since 2015. Like he probably took the screenshot like when he was making the video.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Since 2015, this post got 5 likes. So I don't know if that's what I mean, right? If Scott liked it, little bro. Okay. All right, chat.
So this theory does just definitively predate Scott's.
Well, that's what I mean. That's implying that Scott is like super mega Jesus, and he knows every single theory anyone's crafting. He's like, I have it all.
And maybe he was one of these 18 comments. Let's see.
That's true.
See. Maybe he's confirmed to know about this.
Oh, here we go.
There were a few that I remember he responded to.
Griswold has responded. I meant like CC, some stuff like CC saving himself from Mike with magical time travel god victim powers to save himself.
Okay. Wait, save himself?
I'm pretty sure he died, didn't he? Unless like CC is plush bear. CC is the plush talking to himself.
Oh yes, yeah. I've had that.
I've heard. Oh, we've had thought in a way. We you know. Those who know.
Well, what I was just thinking about this when I started kind of considering this. If we argue that, and I don't actually, this is how the field works. Sorry, this is actually how the field works in the book. I was going to say CC's god victim powers don't actually need to work forwards. They can actually work backwards in time as well. So what we could argue is like CC, what would it be like loop god loop. Where it is
don't let FNAF Twitter hear the name God Loop. They'll be like, no.
So God Loop would be the idea that CC died in 1983, but because his god powers don't work based on time, the toy chica was missing her beak because of the robot in the future, but it went backwards in time to the past to affect, because in the field in the book they talk about people influencing pre-recorded messages that nobody's listened to. So we could be dealing with a time traveling god victim powers, but somebody
keep talking.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that this god, he could work through time, not just forward, but backwards as well. That little balloon kid, he's not the inspiration for Balloon Boy. Balloon Boy is the inspiration for him in the past. The god victim powers take stuff from the future and move them backwards through time.
Oh.
The little girl makes those rumors because of what happened to the MCI 2 years later. It doesn't inspire the future, it's inspired by the future.
But how is he going back in time?
The field. It works backwards, because in the field book she talks about people influencing pre-recorded things which were made before they interacted with them. So they use the field to change events in the past. It's possible.
But don't worry, because you can also go into the future, because in the week before, Phone Guy can hear 1983 even though it's not 1983.
Yeah, he can do
so
both.
He's going in a loop.
He's outside of time.
Oh my
he's
god.
Outside of time. He can do anything anywhere.
Oh my goodness.
It's the god loop.
He's the god loop. the God.
Welcome to the God loop. Get on. But we don't need roads.
But don't you understand? That means that in Secret of the Mimic, David Murray is actually David Afton, because he went back, made himself David Murray, and that's why Tiger Rock acts the same way as Golden Freddy, because he went back and God victimed him to be him.
The reason that animatronics exist is because they need to exist to kill him in the first place.
So he went back and made Proto-Freddies. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all coming together.
Now we've got David loop victim.
It's all coming together. It's all coming together. Oh my God.
The music is so funny.
I'll have to erase that out in the VOD so I don't get copyrighted.
Man.
This segment will be nowhere near as funny on Watchback. Okay. Let's go back to the video.
Know how to search Google for results between specific date ranges. Third, FNAF 4 predates Scott's use of the theory evidence that it was correct, relating it to when Scott asked, would the fans accept it that way, and just ignoring how in the same post he said that all prior FNAF 4 theories were wrong. I hope this is a sufficient amount of evidence for why I think Dream Theory just might be a little bit wrong. It's filled with holes, much in the same way that the ocean is filled with microplastics. Now that we've put that to rest, let's get back to figuring out what is actually going on in FNAF 4 and how it ties into the box.
My ear. Ow, he's crackling. Stop crackling in my ear. Oh, the static. It was in it's only the left ear.
Scott said that the Easter eggs aren't random, which is a pretty blatant hint as far as they go, so let's make like a bunch of kids on Easter and look for some eggs.
Thank you, Doriana, for the 5 memberships.
Probably the most famous Easter egg in FNAF 4 is found on the TV. During the Night 3 minigame, once you get to Dave's house, you can turn on the TV.
As those who know, this is because he's possessed by a TV.
Yeah,
oh, you're still huge. You're still huge. I forgot to bring you back. Here we go.
The post he pulled up, though, only said that the night gameplay was a dream, which isn't what Dream Theory is. No, yeah, Fazbear, he was saying that this is an alternate theory and that that's also wrong because Scott said that anything before... I think he was like, this thing is wrong even though it's similar, right? I don't know if we can go by like what Scott might or might not have seen. I think he was pretty much just like tuned into game theory and like 8-bit Ryan Raspetsky.
What's going on, guys? This is Ryan here.
It didn't happen.
It's the Ryan here.
Right. Displaying the title Fredbear and Friends, along with the
Hello
copyright
guys,
date
I'm
of
at T-Dreads.
1983, followed by images of Fredbear alongside the usual quartet of animatronics. Many people take this to mean that this minigame takes place in 1983, and I agree. It'd be kind of a dick move to show us a date on screen if it's not accurate in the least bit. Somewhat unrelated to this theory, but I want to bring it up anyway. This also seems to support my hypothesis that the restaurant we see during these minigames isn't Fredbear's Family Diner, but rather a Freddy Fazbear's Pizza location that still happens to use the...
ID's Fantasy thought the same thing. Time to be canceled on Twitter. Enjoy being canceled on Twitter,
This is also a big
Fredbear characters.
This is a big part of the other video that people are asking us to react to, but he doesn't really address it. He just kind of assumes it, and I'm like, wait. Go back. Talk about the Fredbear's thing. He just calls it Freddy's and moves on.
Or Homestead. Why'd I call him Whore Homestead? Gibby says, bro. Do you not like that? Homestead. Do you hate that theory, Gibby? That's a Freddy's?
That's not like super relevant, but I just wanted to mention that I don't think this is Fredbear's for a number of reasons.
Oh, holy audio mixing.
Okay. The location uses Springlinks says Fungi is the one who recorded the instructional tapes for how it operates, implying his employment predates them. No? What? Oh, because he's saying if Fungi makes the instructional tapes, then the instructional tapes must be brand new. But the suits are being referred to as old in those tapes.
Yeah.
So it's not like the first set of tapes ever made. It's just the new set of tapes for Freddy's, which they say come from an older place. So that's Fredbear's. So Fredbear's had Springlocks before Freddy's.
I do not remember the name of the location he worked at. Therefore, I think Phone Guy never worked at Fredbear's. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it necessarily. The suits have to originate at that location. We've no idea. The suits originate. God knows where. Edwin's making them, and then somebody else is making them, and you know.
In the phone calls, phone guy says the classic suits are being retired, and right now we have 2 specialized suits. So it's 2 specialized suits. It's Fredbear and Spring Bonnie.
Yep.
They are classic suits, which means they're old from a previous thing. Why would he call the brand new Springlocks classic suits? That doesn't. I guess unless the Springlock technology is new, but the suits are Fredbear and Spring Bonnie, which are classic. But I think he's saying Springlocks are being retired. So the classic suits, which are older than the new regular robots, are being retired. So
20 more viewers. We're at 1,000.
Springlocks. Yeah, let's go. I think the Springlocks come from Fredbear's, and then they show up in the.
Yeah, I feel like the Springlocks have to. I mean, stage 01 even.
It's also because the Springlocks are set off at a Circus Baby's Pizza World, and then get
due to an unfortunate incident. Yeah, I agree.
Freddy's.
This might be like stupid freaking chud logic, but I'm like, when I walk in the FNAF 4 pizzeria and I see a ginormous Fredbear on the wall going, I'm like, well, maybe it's Fredbear.
Yeah.
like I'm
and the TV show about all the characters is called Fredbear and Friends.
Yeah, maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but when you walk into the 8-bit minigame and the only detail on the wall is it's Fredbear, you're like, well, perhaps some sort of family diner.
And he's got a big picture of his head on the wall, and you never see the other 4 characters.
Easter
how is this Freddy's
during
if
the
you
night
don't
2
see any of the other animatronics?
Yeah, there's no promotional material for any of the other characters.
Yeah, there's just the merchandise, which are from the TV show.
Yeah, but you don't even know if they sell it at that place, though. Like, they don't even know if that's where it sells it. We don't know if Fredbear's sells the merch.
Yeah, that's true.
Backtracking while Dave is running away from the employee in a Springlocks suit, you can see...
the others are
I don't know if this is Fredbear's, guys. We only got Fredbear and Fredbear. we got Fredbear and we got Fredbear.
and Spring Bonnie. Yeah. And also there's more than 2 because there's
one in the back room. Anyway, 3. Me when there's 4 Fredbears. I don't know. It doesn't look like Fredbears to me. We're not dogging him. We're just having fun. We're just having fun.
We're not dogging him. We're just having fun. No, honestly, I definitely thought
this has a host of implications, but
yeah.
MCI 83 would make a lot more
7
sense.
viewers until 1,000. 7 viewers. 1,000 live viewers. Time to do a little jig.
Let's go do the jig.
Oh, I gotta zoom out.
Welcome, everybody. Holy moly, 1,015.
All right, anyways.
Wow, I'm catching up on this on the stream. That's good. Good job. Whoa, look at those moves.
The main one is that this means the minigames take place while he's still working at Fazbear Entertainment. This would place the events of the FNAF 4 minigames before the missing children incident, since we know he gets
lost 20 viewers just for that, but worth it.
I'm tempted to say that Charlie is already dead, though, since I've been beating my head against a brick wall trying to figure out what order these 3 children die. Wild sentence, by the way. And if Charlie is already dead, that'd provide an explanation for the second voice that speaks from the Fredbear plush in the lighter yellow text, and why Dave is so terrified of the place, but that's not super important for this theory right now. The minigames aren't the only place where Scott hid Easter eggs, though, so onto the night segment. During the nights, there is a small chance for some objects to show up on the bedside table. They are an IV drip, a bottle of pills, and a vase of flowers. Hospital imagery. How curious. Anyway, there are also some audio Easter eggs. There's a rare chance to hear a creepy breath, a creepy laugh, and most famously, a dog barking.
Do I have a dog?
Why does dog no come protect me?
And why is dog no come protect me?
And then there's the most important one. On rare occasions, you can hear a radio playing in the distance.
He's great.
It's fetch. All right, guys. Come on.
Fetch. Yeah, that's
the audio for it just sounds like noise, but if you reverse it, it turns out to be a pitched down version of the Night 1 phone call from FNAF 1.
finishing up my last week now, as a matter of fact.
Many people write this off as Scott just reusing audio with no meaning, but remember, the Easter eggs aren't random. He deliberately hid the night one phone call in this game. The call that mentions the bite of 87.
And then there was the bite of 87. Yeah. It's amazing that the human body can live without the frontal lobe, you know?
Such an interesting choice on Scott's part.
Scott wouldn't leave us hanging, though, as he decided to crash the GT Live FNAF Theory stream and give us more clues that would infuriate and confuse fans forever. The first of his magical hints was, in the FNAF 4 minigame, why would the tiny toy Chica be missing its beak?
Well, obviously because of
I think he used that phrase to trigger a panic attack in FNAF fans.
Yeah.
During the aforementioned Night 3 minigame, you can go to an optional area where a girl is playing with her toys of the Freddy's characters. One of them is Chica, and she happens to be missing her beak, which is lying next to her on the floor. This seems to be a very direct reference to Toy Chica from FNAF 2. Smash, next question. She iconically loses her beak when she leaves the stage, and there really wasn't an explanation for why that happens. I'll be real with you, I kinda don't know what the deal is with the Toy Chica figurine's beak. I guess it's telling us that the FNAF 2 designs already exist as of 1983, and the mangle in the bedroom adds to that. I honestly don't get this clue at all. His second hint was, what is seen in the shadows is easily misunderstood in the mind of a child. Which feels like the most substantial clue, but also is super vague. It could be referring to the shadows of the animatronics seen in the minigames, which are purple, acting as a potential explanation for the shadow animatronics, Shadow Freddy, and RWQFSFASXC, both of whom have been portrayed as purple. I was always off-put by the idea that they're meant to be the shadows of the Springlock animatronics, or like Springlock failure victims, because...
Wait, so that's saying he just wrote off the Toy Chica beak thing?
Yeah.
Well, I don't really think you should do that, considering it's one of the three things he gave us.
Well, he just said he didn't write it off. He just said, I don't really know what it is.
Oh, okay.
So I think, and this obviously is all very fresh in my mind because it was all about the God Victim video.
Yeah.
I personally think the important thing about these teasers isn't even necessarily what they're saying, it's when they're saying it. And if you go into the context of what they were talking about, and then Scott was writing these in real time for them, I think it explains them a lot better. The Toy Chica thing is directly after they're talking about how it seems like all these Easter eggs are red herrings, and how, I think they're just to throw people off the scent. And then he's like, here's one you didn't even see, and it is important. Like, I'm pointing at the Toy Chica thing because it's clearly a reference to 87, and that's on purpose, and that's not me just giving you another red herring. These are important. Then this one is a kind of a follow-up to that. Like, it's kind of, again, reiterating, like, there's more to these things that's going on. And then the final one is in response to Matt Pat saying that FNAF 2 is a dream. And so when he says 4 games, 1 story, he's basically like, no, it's not, one of them's not fake. And Matt Pat went,
all of them are fake.
Looks exactly like Toy Bonnie. But then there is this Toy Bonnie looking Spring Bonnie head in the parts and service room, which may have even served as an inspiration for Glitch Trap's design, so maybe. Alternatively, what other context could there be for this line? We know Dave has a reason to be scared. His plush even says, remember what you saw. You know what happens if he catches you.
And then he sees his dad.
What if he saw what William did? What if he saw Charlie die? Why does no one...
Why would that make him scared of the suits?
Yeah.
That kill wasn't in a suit.
That
kill was just him chilling.
Again, because I have all my own answers for these like thought out, so I know he's not here to kind of rebuttal or whatever. But my take on it, and I'm not saying he's necessarily wrong or that I'm right, but like my take on the whole thing is in that mini game where it says, remember what you saw. If you leave the screen and then come back, which is like you're not supposed to do that. That's when you see William and the guy at the suit. So it's kind of like, remember what you saw, and then when you leave and come back, it's like he's remembering. I don't think it's even necessarily like literal. I don't think it's William's back there right now with a guy. I think it's more, this is what you saw. It's the only thing in shadow in the whole game.
That's true.
Like in the minigame sections.
I think that makes sense.
And so I think God Victim is saying he thought his dad stuffed people in suits. So that's what happens when he starts killing people, is he starts putting them in suits.
Or it might not even be that it's because what you could say is if it's not his dad at the time of the game coming out, the idea was just, oh, the kid saw an employee putting people in suits, and so then when another employee started killing people, that's what they did. It was the idea of a guy in shadow who's an employee with a badge.
I'd be interested to see when in the live stream
to start killing.
When in the live stream Scott gives them that clue. I wonder if they're talking about that Easter egg at the time Scott gives that clue.
I don't think they are. I think they're just still considering the Toy Chica stuff, and they start saying that it starts reminding them of other stuff from FNAF 2. So what you could say is that's what saved them is it's a guy who's in purple with a yellow badge, and then he says what's seen in shadows. So they're talking about FNAF 2 references. The purple guy is a FNAF 2 reference in that minigame. So yeah, you're right. Actually, I missed that. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, there's definitely links between 2 and 4, like so many. I mean, Sire Squawks did a whole video on it, right? Pretty sure.
Yeah, he proposed like a kind of a combination of Loop Victim and a bit of God Victim. He was more going on like the haunted burial grounds kind of idea.
Oh, nice.
But also he was doing it backwards, where FNAF 2 was happening because of the haunted grounds, but not. Like, it was Loop Victim, but the crying child was causing the stuff in FNAF 2 when he was in the loop, and it was showing you what was happening outside of his loop.
Gotcha. Let's keep going.
Fears to other people. What is seen in the shadows is easily misunderstood in the mind of a child. The final clue we received on that fateful day was 4 games, 1 story. I think most people read this and went, yeah, no shit. It is good to have confirmation that the games do in fact have an overarching narrative through line between them. It'd be extremely troubling if they didn't. That would be all if not for a potential 4th comment. MatPat noticed a message from Scott in chat asking the question,
here we go. Scott Cawthon, have you thought of who the security guard is? And it's interesting because before all the technical difficulties, one of the things that I wanted to toss out to everyone, because it is one of the final biggest questions of the franchise. The security guards, what role do they play in all of this?
Bringing up the night guard during a FNAF 4 discussion when the game seemingly doesn't feature a night guard. How suspicious. Very
Chat
suspicious,
says
in
that
fact, because while
comment
I was looking...
is fake, but would MatPat really have been stupid enough to like not notice the check? Wait, did they have the check marks back then? Was that a thing in 2014?
I don't think they did. I do remember Scott in the live stream saying to Dawko that he wasn't in the chat. He said,
okay.
That was, I think, earlier or later or something. So the question was like, was that him or was that somebody just trying to pretend to be him?
Gotcha.
It wasn't brought up because a lot of people did mention it. They actually read it on the stream and then they say, "Oh, I don't know if that's actually Scott. He said he's not in chat."
All right, give insightful commentary while I'm playing it or something. I don't know. Quick, I gotta piss.
For that clip, I also saw this.
No.
I just want to say before I say anything, if you're getting anything from the comment section from someone called Scott, Scott's just emailed me saying, let them know that I am not commenting in the stream. Anyone who comments on the stream is fake.
Okay, there you go. So Scott,
well,
the little grain of salt that we took earlier.
It was really,
It was more of a nice tablespoon of salt.
So it turns out that may have been a Scott imposter rather than the man himself. No. Well, that leads dead. Oh well, this theory works without it, so whatever. Now then, we have a full conspiracy board's worth of clues dissected and laid out. It's time to start looking for connections and drawing conclusions. There is an answer in here, and it's deceptively easy to find. So here comes my big reveal. The single most important clue. The thing everyone overlooked. The clue that solves FNAF 4. Here it comes. The phone call. That's right. The phone call. The reversed phone call playing in the distance. This is the clue that solves FNAF 4. Scott could have chosen any of the phone calls to play in the background if it was just supposed to be a background noise, but he didn't. He chose the Night 1 phone call from FNAF 1. The call talking about the bite of 87. So answer me this. If we're playing as Dave, who we know for certain dies in 1983...
He's saying that the phone call is the important, like, missing clue because it's the one that talks about the bite of 87. He hasn't said why that's important, though, yet.
I mean, I can understand that because the whole, like, teaser stuff. 8387.
Oh, I agree. I definitely agree that it's important, but...
Of course, we all know that it's God, David, or Victor, or whatever it is for.
Yeah.
How are we hearing a phone call talking about an event that took place 4 years later? We can't be. It's impossible for Dave to hear this phone call. We aren't playing as Dave. We're playing as the one person who we know for certain has heard this phone call. I've laid out all the pieces for you. Now all that's left is to put the pieces together and open the box once.
Oh my gosh, no.
What is inside the box?
I really like that idea.
It's God, David!
The Foxy mask. Because we're playing as the brother.
Alright, let's hear him out.
We're playing as Mike. This is my theory for what is inside the box, what was always supposed to be inside the box all along. The Foxy mask that is synonymous with Dave's older brother, the object that represents him. All the clues point to the fact that we cannot be playing as Dave. He's already dead. We hear him flatline during the Night 6 cutscene. FNAF 4 is about Mike enduring nightmares about what he did to his brother. That's why the end of night jingle is different, because unlike the other 3 games where the jingle represents a shift being complete, in FNAF 4, the alarm is just that, an alarm.
See, my thing would be, why change that then? Because that's completely compatible with sister location.
Yeah. So the
contents of the box have changed over the years. In sister location, that's even easier to understand. So why would he change it? Because you play as Mike. You play as that guy. You play as that guy in. Sorry, you play as that guy in sister location. It'd be way easier to understand that. Why change it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you just open it. If you were gonna make sister location where the main character is Mike, who is the brother, and it's important, just open the box before you release sister location, because it doesn't matter if people didn't get the story, because that's the relevant thing. Like, and I think by that stage people had figured out. Oh no, they hadn't. They hadn't figured out the Mike Schmidt thing, right?
Yeah.
But I guess he was like, I guess the argument would be, well, Scott wanted to reveal in 5 in the way he was planning for to be a reveal. I think he wanted the reveal to be in 5. But I would argue that, like, okay, so we put together that we put together that the player is Mike, right? And Game Theory makes a video and they go, we're playing as the older brother, the security guard. And then the next day, the box opens and it's the mask. And then we kind of go, oh, cool, so we were the guard. Or we were the Foxy bro.
Holy memberships from Pablo. Guys, we need double W Pablo. 2 W's and a Pablo.
I think it definitely should have been solved at the time, because the whole thing of, like, being traumatized by the bite itself and being picked up and all that kind of stuff, I think that works. But there's, like, details that confuse it, like the IV drips and stuff like that, and being so small and you know, all this kind of weirdness. So I understand why it wasn't put together, but, like, again, I don't know if that's what the box would open. I think this is a good theory, right, for what 4 was about at the time. I think that's a good idea. I just think that the issue that I get to with the video, like, premise is that we just disagree at the, like, first hurdle as to what Scott was saying about the box. So then everything that the theory is built on from then on, I already am like, well, I don't think this is what he was saying. The jumps in certain points in logic are perfectly fine, and this kind of conclusion about 4 is perfectly good, and I think I would agree. But I also just don't see why, if that was what was in the box, why he wouldn't have opened it at some point, or how that has changed, or how that hasn't been a story thread that he's followed, because that is exactly the story thread he followed, is about the
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He goes further down. He goes further down the familial brother, father. The family themes increase post 4, so I don't see why it would change.
Or how it would have changed. If this was the original answer, how would Scott say, I just don't know if I can ever find it again? It's like, find it again. You did it immediately. That was the first thing you did, was the brother and the sister and the dad and like him putting the sibling back together. That's immediately what's followed up. So I don't think it necessarily makes sense to say that that's what the box was. But I agree that that's what FNAF 4 was, like the nightmare parts.
Yeah, let's see where he goes.
Alarm to wake Mike up in the morning. Why is he eye level with the doorknobs? Because he's dreaming about Dave. His nightmares might be from Dave's point of view. The nightmares act very similar to their FNAF 1 counterparts because Mike has already worked there, hence the phone call repeating in his dream.
They also pick
but
you
the
up
nightmares
like
don't
being,
just represent the animatronics he saw at Freddy's. They're Mike and his friends. The masks match up, and Foxy even makes the same noise in the closet that Mike makes during the minigames when jumping out at Dave. That's why no FNAF 2 animatronics are present, despite Mike working there too under the alias Fritz Smith. Fredbear is here for obvious reasons, covered in mouth imagery, because Mike shoved Dave's head into his mouth and gave him DIY brain surgery. That's why we see those Easter eggs by the bed. The IV, a memory of Dave's death at the hospital. The pills, reality leaking in. Mike puts himself to sleep with pills to try and uncover his own sins. Most interesting is the vase. At first I thought it was just to reinforce the hospital imagery, but then I had a thought, hey, don't flowers have, like, meanings? The vase specifically features tulips. Pink and white tulips. And only pink and white tulips. So I looked up if those have specific meanings. According to bloomandwild.com, pink tulips are known for meaning affection, caring, good wishes, and love, although not as deep or passionate love as red tulips represent. Pink tulips are great to send to friends and family members to show them you care. So pink tulips represent family. Cool! What about white tulips? White tulips have a meaning of forgiveness, respect, purity, and honor. So if you need to apologize to someone, tulips are ideal. So family and forgiveness. We literally have "I'm sorry, brother" spelled out in flowers. I lost my shit at the next bit. Apparently, according to superstition, if you dream about white tulips, it can mean you're about to embark on a new journey and a fresh start in life. They even...
Alright, that's pretty cool.
I like that a lot. I do like that a lot. The issue is I don't know enough about flowers or color theory because I think sometimes these, like, you know, symbolism is literally varies from page to page, person to person, source to source. So like, this guy found that website that says that on that one thing, but like there's nowhere written down as like a holy decree
in the fabric of the universe.
That if you dream about them, this, but it is interesting that could be an idea which Scott was aware of. And I don't know if that's a prevalent idea with white tulips or pink tulips, but it's just, I would need to see more evidence that this is like a common held belief and not just this one website said that.
Yeah.
And have a specific meaning if they show up in your dreams. I just... Remember Scott's infamous one retcon post? You know, this one, where he said that he uses new releases to clarify his intentions when people misinterpret something in the last game. The current misconception he mentions was Mic Trap, by the way.
Yeah, which isn't a change.
Misconception from Sister Location that he planned to clear up in the then upcoming Pizzeria Simulator. He even says here that Sister Location exists to clarify something from 4. What's the first thing you see when you start Sister Location?
Please enter your name as seen above the keypad. This cannot be changed later, so please be careful.
Yeah, that's pretty blatant. Even supplemental material supports this conclusion. Remember the survival logbook?
That's not really in relation to 4, though.
What did he say? Sorry, I missed that.
He said the fact that the name Mike is written on the keypad is your clue that you play as Mike in FNAF 4. Hand unit. The fact that Mike's written on hand unit is the clue that you play as Mike in FNAF 4.
No, it's the hint that you play as Mike Schmidt from Sister Location. Because if you don't know 4 was about the guard, then you play Sister Location and you go, oh, I'm playing as the guy from FNAF 1 again. I think it's by the time you get to the end and he goes, Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. And then he starts talking about all this stuff. that's the kind of like, oh, something seems to be up with this Mike guy and the Aftons, and then that's when you can start putting the pieces together as to like,
I think the
with
1983 code.
Room.
I think the 1983 code is is what the misconception was.
Where they make sure you.
Either that or something else in the bunker. Okay, because, well, if Scott says, I use the next game to clear up a misconception, right, from 4?
Yeah.
I think the best part to do that would be the part of the game where you literally see FNAF 4, which is the private room.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like the hint in Sister Location that you're the guy from FNAF 4 as well is the Nightmare Chambers. But Mike being the guy's name in Sister Location wouldn't mean anything if those chambers weren't there.
Know that Mike writes in red pen on page 1. That's why he drew Nightmare Fredbear in response to the question about recent dreams, because he's seen the nightmares.
I agree with all this.
Inside his head. You know how Matthew Lillard said that the point of the movies is to fill in the gaps of the lore?
And then do you want to explore Afton's relationship with his daughter more in the future?
For me, the only thing I want to explore are the things that make sense for the fan base, for Scott, for the storytelling. I mean,
for the fans.
Frankly,
so was Scream 7.
Our job in that movie is to deliver lore, right? So much of the game is like fans are so long filled in the blanks. And our job is to fill in where we can and what Scott and Emma thinks appropriate. So for me, only thing I care about is that we're doing something that the fans want, that they'll be excited to see.
Well, would you look at that? A movie about a guy named Mike taking sleeping pills so he can figure out what happened to his dead younger brother. I wonder what that could be hinting at. Fuck, even the second movie supports this. Mindless spoilers for the second movie. Skip to this timestamp if you haven't seen it yet. A plot point in the second film is Vanessa just being absolutely haunted by her dead dad's memory, and Mike encourages her to confront her past in her sleep like he did so she can move on. And to do so, she pulls out a box from her closet. At this point I was internally screaming at the screening I went to, and you want to know what she pulls out of the box? Objects from her childhood, like Garrett's toy plane. A child of William Afton keeping objects that remind them of their childhood in a box that they hide away. Wow, that's inconspicuous. All signs point towards...
Wait, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think...
However, those he's got a. I know chat's mad because I keep pausing it. Fair use, Lamau. I'm hoping he addresses those objects in the movie also double as things from dead kids. Presumably,
at least one of the plane.
At least one of them because of the plane. So
I think the implication is that they are from other kids. That would be where my mind goes, because like, don't put that one in among the other stuff. If the other stuff has nothing to do with anyone, you know.
The Foxy mask. At this point, I genuinely cannot see it being anything else. This reveal checks all the boxes from the criteria I laid out from Scott's post. 1. Did we arrive at the conclusion using methods we've been using since the first game? Yes, you just had to reverse some audio, something we've been doing since the 5th night of FNAF 1. Remember the autobiography of a Yogi audio? It gave people such severe reverse audio brain rot that some people genuinely believed that London Bridges falling down backwards was saying Mike kill all.
Mike kill
Scott
all.
had every reason to believe people would figure out the meaning of some reversed audio. 2. Did anyone propose this theory before Scott's post? Not that I could find. I saw a couple of people coming to conclusions such as we play as the brother and the brother is Mike, but none that put 2 and 2 together and guessed the Foxy.
Wait. There's a Matthew Lillard AI deepfake in Scream 7? That's crazy. Glitch trap parallel, someone said. Thanks, Gonk. And then thank you, Q Kayara.
Mask being in the box. Look at any Let's Play, everyone thinks they're playing as Dave. Look at any fan animation or parody, they all use Dave as the main character. Any fan song, it's either from the perspective of Dave fending off the animatronics, the animatronics coming to kill Dave, or both. The common fandom consensus is still that you're playing as Dave throughout all of 4. 3. Does this reveal change the story of 4? Yes, it was never about Dave. It was about Mike.
Okay, well, I don't say it's not about him at all. It's still quite relevant to the story.
Story only exists to set up Mike's character motivations. It was always his story. 4. Were the Easter eggs necessary to figuring it out? Yes, the Easter eggs show us that the minigames and the nights cannot take place at the same time, since the minigames take place earlier and the character we play as during the minigames dies in the end. The nights have to be from someone else's perspective. 5. Is it simple enough to be solvable? Yes, it's a single object with an immediately understandable meaning. If you see the Foxy mask in the box, you immediately know what it means because of who that mask...
How do any of Scott's clues... Besides, 4 games, 1 story, fair enough. But how do either of the other clues from Scott, like...
They don't.
Yeah.
The Toy Chica one, he just straight up said, I don't know how that fits in. He just said what he thought was his, like, the best idea was like, oh, maybe it's just showing the toys existed as, like, designs in the 83 as, like, toys, and then they became real animatronics, but, like...
Or mangle in the... See, I've always thought it's like that in real life. That's not a minigame. Like, when the crying child's walking around, by some means of God victimisms, there is a mangle, and there is a Toy Chica with no beak. So how does that... how does that... Like, how can you make that mean Mike's a security guard?
It doesn't. And that's why I think the idea that that's, like... responses to game theory are looked at in kind of an interesting way, because I think it's more about what he was replying to as opposed to like the individual. Like when you look at that on its own, you go, okay, what was he trying to say about this one thing? But like it's more important in context. And when you look at it as a whole, like I don't see them being particularly relevant to this, whereas people take them as individual pieces of evidence, like, oh, these were just 3 different things he was telling us. They're not related.
This a little bit skirts over all the other dream theory, God victimism stuff we haven't talked about. There's so much of it.
I think he would just say, like, oh, well, that's
plush trap, all that. Yeah.
That's just happiest day. That's just to say that he's the Golden Freddy kid or whatever.
6. Is it controversial? Yes, revealing you were playing as Mike the whole time would have been controversial. He was a bully and he killed his brother. 7. Is it painful? Yes. Mike lives in shame and grief at what he did. We hear him apologize to his comatose brother during the Night 6 cutscene. It's what drives him to pursue his father and try to undo all the suffering associated with Freddy's. The Foxy mask is locked away in the box because Mike cannot bear to face what he did. Not yet, anyway. It has to be the Foxy mask. That's why Scott said 4 games, 1 story. Because they are. They're Mike's story. It's himself in the box symbolically. It's what he did. The part of him he can't bring himself to confront. That's what was in the box the whole time. It's me. It's always been me. Damn, if only there was a hint somewhere that we were supposed to pay attention to Foxy's head. Inconspicuously headless Foxy blush. Oh, but that's just...
Found another set of drawings, always nice, and a Foxy head, which we think could be authentic. Then again,
but that could also be God victim, you know what I mean? So,
another crappy cosplay.
At this point, I don't think this theory could be any more well supported if I tried. Keep in mind, Scott said that he had vague ideas up to FNAF 5 by the time he was working on 2, so the idea that 4's twist was planned by the time he made 3 isn't entirely out of the question.
About Five Nights at Freddy's 2, how did you get the idea for, changing the mechanics up a little bit? So the masks and the vents, watching the puppet.
There wasn't a really in-depth planning phase. For like the overall feel of the games, like a lot of these were, I just kind of knew what they were supposed to be, or just kind of felt the way that the series should progress. Like I knew that part 2 should be chaotic. Part 2 should be, a lot more chaotic than the first one. It should be just crazy. It should be overwhelming panic. And then I also knew, even at that time, before as I was working on part 2, I knew that 3 should be a very personal experience. It should be the opposite of what 2 was. Part 3 should be kind of one-on-one, and I knew that part 4 should be kind of unique as far as setting and things like that. And I knew that part 5 should be kind of high tech, and I even kind of already had color schemes picked out. Like I knew that part 5 should kind of be purples and blue, kind of. But outside of that, I'm not really sure. And maybe there was more to it at the time, but you know. It all happened so fast, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like too many people see Scott's theoretical writing skill level as a binary. He's either a mastermind who planned it all from the beginning, or a talentless hack who just made shit up as he went. In reality, he's a decent writer who just has a habit of second-guessing himself and listening too much to fans, letting criticism dictate the direction of the series.
So,
in my mind, that was the end of a trilogy.
Yeah.
You know, game 3, Olivia criticism. You know, happy that was it. So yeah,
that's interesting.
If my theory about the box is correct, it also has some implications for other things too. Namely, I think I know what Nightmare is. It's Dave. It's Dave's ghost. Whether literally or metaphorically, I'm unsure.
I am your wickedness made of flesh. Nah, that can't be.
I guess this is again at the time of 4, not necessarily now.
It was still called Shadow Freddy, though.
Yeah, but it looks like Fredbear.
That's true.
Although his unique properties and similarity to Golden Freddy makes me think this is literally Dave's ghost attacking Mike in his sleep. I know the common consensus was that Nightmare is just death itself coming to take Dave, but we aren't playing as Dave. Here's why I think Nightmare isn't death coming for Dave, but rather Dave himself. For one, Fredbear recolor. I think the connection between Dave and Fredbear is...
Yeah, and the brain-looking thing, I understand. I get it.
Was that the bite of 87?
Also, he's specifically black, which is the color of Dave's shirt. I know, weakling, but if it was good enough evidence for Dave possessing the puppet, it's good enough for this too,
I thought he was going to bring up
Nightmare is also transparent, making him look like a ghost. He only
shows
up after you see the Night 6 cutscene, where Dave dies. His transparent appearance also has a side effect. Some of his renders make it look like he's missing the top half of his head. Kinda like Dave! Also, his endoskeleton skull is visible, just floating in there. Yeah, that's just the endo head. You can see it
could
easier
also
if you
be
brighten the
like
image.
Dave, like agony, whatever. You know, it could be that as well.
You can see the eye socket.
Like not his ghost necessarily, but like agonisms.
Looks so much like a brain that most people think it's supposed to be a brain, which would be another pretty clear Dave parallel. The thing that finally convinced me that Nightmare is just Dave, though, is this. You know how a lot of people thought that Dave possesses the puppet due to design similarities? How they both have tear stains running down their faces and have black and white stripes? You know what replaces Nightmare in Halloween Edition? I think I might very well be the first person to realize this, so allow me...
Wait, we have a Gregbot tier chart. Let's go. Yeah, but Charlie's not Dave.
Yeah, but he's just saying that it's like
feels
a
the same
reference
role. Yeah, feels the same
thinking crying child was the puppet, so he's making reference to that by making the puppet replace the thing, replace the crying child.
Holy.
Let me just say, good joke, Scott. Well played. This isn't even the only time Scott draws a parallel between the puppet and black bears, because Lefty also exists.
That's true.
I also want to note that the game files refer to Night 7,
the DCI, by the way,
where Nightmare is introduced, as Shadow Freddy. So if Nightmare is Dave, does that mean that Shadow Freddy is always Dave? Is Shadow Freddy just Dave's ghost manifesting itself outside the Golden Freddy suit that he normally shares with Cassidy? I'm not entirely confident in this assertion, but that could provide a pretty convenient explanation for Shadow Freddy, why he looks like Golden Freddy, and why he behaves the way he does. In FNAF 2, he manifests in parts and service.
See, this all makes sense except for Golden Freddy is the one that gives you the "it's me," and Shadow Freddy is incredibly violent in UCN. Or Nightmare, sorry. Nightmare's very like, I'm going to vomit you out, you know?
Yeah, I think, because I've thought the same thing, right? Because we've had ideas about, you know, Shadow Freddy, and I've gone back and forth like, oh, is this person Shadow Freddy or is this person Shadow Freddy?
Yeah.
And some of the stuff makes more sense for Crying Child because, oh, it's a purple shadow, right? Like he's the purple guy's son, so he's purple.
Wait, he's the what? The purple guy's son.
He's the purple guy's son. You know, and it would make sense. Like, oh yeah, he's represented as the spirit, like as the thing that killed him, but he's not literally that. That's Cassidy who was put into that suit.
We got 1,100 live viewers, by the way. Wow.
Yeah, or then you have the idea that like, oh no, Crying Child possessed Fredbear first, and that's why Cassidy
is actually Shadow Freddy because she's not able to possess Golden Freddy, or she's like a sort of a shadow of the crying child, and those who know and etc. But
those who know. How's that coming along, by the way? How's those who know coming along? I'm assuming that means very early stages.
Early stages. Early stages.
And just stares at you. Unlike who crashes your game, Shadow Freddy just doesn't. It's a common misconception that he crashes your game too, but no. In FNAF 3, he leads the animatronics to Afton so their souls can be unbound from their suits. And outside of that, he only shows up in the office as a harmless Easter egg. I'm a firm you play as Mike in FNAF 3 believe.
What if Freddy Fazbear isn't haunted and just eats you because the mimic saw a bear documentary? Wait, this would be truly peak lore.
Wait,
it's all mimic.
True.
Yeah, it's just the fact that there's a link between Nightmare and Shadow Freddy drawn. He's like, Shadow Freddy appears harmlessly. It's Mike, or it's Dave, but then Shadow Freddy appears in FNAF 4 and kills you. So
yeah, and like honestly, we could argue that we just have it wrong about Cassidy, and we don't know what kind of person that she is. Like maybe she is, doesn't want to hurt Mike. Maybe she wants to help everybody because she's the one helping put everything back together. She's the one who gets the kids taken out of the suits. Maybe she's not trying to hurt people. Maybe she's good. Mm-hmm. But then there's like, I will eat your soul in FNAF World. It's interesting. Shadow Freddy
is Dave. Him occasionally appearing by Mike's side is...
Yeah, Shadow Freddy. Yeah, FNAF World. What's it? UCN. Evil. It's an evil creature.
He's not hostile anymore.
Because in the games, it can't kill you. In the games, it can't kill you, which is interesting.
You can see Mike trying to free him, so he
isn't attacking him. All its moves in FNAF World are one-hit KOs, I believe.
FNAF World, namely that it's Dave's afterlife in a way. You play as Dave. This seems implied by the clock route, where you have to interact with 8-bit Fredbear, who instructs you to find the clocks and set the hints for Mike to follow in FNAF 3 to enact Happiest Day. As an aside, is the reason for the clocks just to be another jab at Dream Theory? Like, why else would they be clocks? The minigames in FNAF 3 aren't clock-themed at all. Now, to clarify, the flip...
Time travel? Wait, it's all making sense. God, Loop.
No, but it's like, it's the future, it's time, it's things that, they're memories, I think, more so than the future. I think it's the past.
Memory victims, almost.
Flip side is not the place with the scan lines and the neon trees and the old man consequences. Those are called the subtunnels, or the world between worlds. The flip side is FNAF, the actual games. So when Fredbear says that something terrible happened on the flip side, he means Dave getting his head cracked like a walnut and dying. Yeah. The game even opens with a pair of yellow eyes reiterating the ending of FNAF 4, and the clock route ending features those same eyes telling you that the pieces are in place and that you can rest.
More God Loop theory. All the stuff in that game, if it is reacting to the Bite of 83, has stuff from the future in it. It's got like Springtrap and stuff, even if it's supposed to be set during 1983.
That's true.
It's peak.
Holy God Loops.
Who do we know in this series who helps save the souls of dead kids, who seems to mess with the code of games
Charlie
to modify
Eyes.
them? The puppet.
Oh.
I think the yellow eyes are Charlie. The light yellow text throughout FNAF World and FNAF 4's ending, the 8-bit Fredbear, it's Charlie. It's Charlie helping Dave find rest until his soul can...
I'm a Cassidy crafting table believer. So
I think that's true now. I think he's right. When 4 came out, I think it was supposed to be the equivalent of Charlie.
Well, because now Cassidy is kind of just like Charlie from Temu. So you help all the other kids. I'll help this one.
Yeah. See, I think the movies kind of give us an indication of kind of more where Scott's head was in the back in the day, when he was writing these. Oh, Mike Schmidt's just some guy. He's not the killer's son. Yada yada.
Oh my god! Oh, why are you guys doing this? Thank you,
Chad Pat.
Guys, you guys are insane.
Damn,
oh my god,
that's good.
That's wild.
But yeah, like that's crazy. But yeah, like the
I had the things turned off. I gotta read that out. I had the things turned off, but Kaiser with 99.99 said shout out to Unwitted and Chad Pat. Thank you for keeping theory crafting fun and fresh. Yeah, you know how it is. It's kind of hard to be as smart as me. I know the truth's trying to keep up, but he's not doing so great.
I really am. I'm falling behind.
But yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, I'll keep doing it for as long as I can because it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. What were you gonna say? Now, that's a ton of money. Thank you.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
The way I look at it is like FNAF 2, the movie, has, the little girl who's in the puppet being angry and wanting to kill people when she comes back to life. I can kind of see that being Scott's, not that she was this kind of super vengeful spirit, but, when he was making the games originally, maybe he was thinking of the puppet as this kind of angrier spirit. And that's why the Fredbear plush is so kind of, he hates you. Like, maybe that's the kind of characterization he was thinking of. And then he took a different direction with the, the way it ended up. So I can see the Fredbear plush being proto Charlie for this era.
Yeah, your local token guy. That makes sense. I think what he's saying is that it is because we know from the FNAF movie that the spirits can enter your dreams. So I think that he's saying that in that mini game. I don't actually disagree. I just think that Nightmare Fredbear is the crying child's ghost. That's what I've always thought. Yeah.
I think the best answer I would have for Nightmare specifically, because I'm not so sold on Nightmare literally being Shadow Freddy, because of that in-game in-editor text that says Shadow Freddy on Night 7. But I think that Nightmare, now that we know about the whole Nightmare Chambers thing, I would lean toward the idea that Nightmare is created by the chambers, right? Like it's like an agony manifestation that I am your wickedness made of flesh.
Yeah.
I am the evil that was put into these chambers that has come to life. I am what the kids are scared of in these chambers.
That makes sense.
That would be kind of where my mind would go.
We're almost done.
Now, no theory is perfect, so let's talk about a few things. Namely this thing. I have no idea what this is. I don't really have a satisfying explanation for what Plush Trap is, but does anyone? Seriously, has anyone ever managed to figure out what this little freak is? My best guess is that he's a real animatronic that Mike uses to train his reflexes, and if he does well, he rewards himself by taking his sleeping pills 2 hours later than usual. I don't know. Speaking of little freaks...
I mean, would it be possible that the nightmares take place... This is going to sound crazy.
During 3.
Yeah, after 3, before 6.
Yeah.
Because he would have seen what Springtrap looks like.
This is what I was going to say, is the Springtrap plush... Oh shit, I just realized. Okay, so this is why Nightmare Balloon Boy and Nightmare Springtrap... Nightmare Plush Trap... Why they're both canon. Is because Plush Trap is what Mike used to dream about before he went to FNAF 3. And then when he started going to FNAF 3, he started dreaming about Plush Trap. That's why they're both canon. Because up to that point, Plush Trap couldn't have existed because he was based on Springtrap.
Yeah, you misspoke. Balloon Boys would have dreamed of. Balloon Boys would have dreamed of before FNAF 3.
Sorry, what was I saying?
You said Plush Trap's what he dreamed of before FNAF 3, and then he went to FNAF 3.
Nightmare Balloon Boy is what he dreams about before 3. Then he goes to 3 and he starts dreaming about Plush Trap because he's remembering his dad, right? So it's like one replaces the other.
Another version of that could be Plush Trap is what was actually in the room in real life in the experiments, and I misspoke too. Nightmare Balloon Boy is what was actually in the room in real life. Yeah. Balloon Boy.
But I'm saying in the story, if you're trying to argue that 4 when it came out was about the security guard being the brother, then putting Plush Trap there makes sense because then you say, okay, Plush Trap can only be based on Springtrap, so it's got to be the guy that has seen Springtrap, which is the guard from 3, and then for him to replace him with Balloon Boy and say he's also canon, then you go, okay, so I guess he also saw the stuff from 2, and then
but then Nightmare Riona isn't canon. It's so weird.
Yeah, Nightmare Riona and Nightmare Mangle.
He would have seen both of them. Yeah,
he would have. Yeah, I guess. Well, maybe he never would have seen the puppet, because if he survived Night 7, he wouldn't have seen the puppet. Do you think it's canon that Nightmare... Do you think it's canon that Mangle would have been out of commission because she committed the bite of 87? or was that going to happen later that day? There's disagreements as to when this bite happens. I think Fritz Smith takes over because Jeremy got bitten. Which, if we're arguing that's Mike, maybe Mangle in canon didn't exist on Night 7.
Well, that'd be funny if Mike got bitten and it was like payback. If Jeremy was Mike and he's like, I'm biting you now. If Mike was the bite of 87, that'd be so funny. Okay.
No. I'm saying that the reason because if he's Fritz Smith, he can't see the puppet because the puppet would kill him if he saw it, right, in his gameplay. So he canonically doesn't see the puppet. And he may not have canonically seen Mangle because Mangle might have been out of commission on Night 7 because they'd already committed the bite.
Yeah.
Why is this thing canon?
Well, that's why those two
If
are
you're
not
confused,
canon.
Scott specified that the content in the Halloween update isn't canon, except Nightmare BB. He's so canon, his minigame was even added to the base game. I don't really know how this fits into anything, but I have a guess. If I had to guess, I'd say the implication is that Balloon Boy is the only animatronic from FNAF 2 that traumatized Mike sufficiently enough to show up in his nightmares, as a joke about how much the fandom hates BB. I think this was just a funny haha joke from Scott.
Yeah.
This is made even funnier when you remember that Mike only spent a single night at that location.
Yeah,
there
if
is
he's
also
Fritz,
the infamous Toy Chica beak thing, but I don't really see how that ties into the box regardless. Again, I think that might have just been to let us know that the designs that'd end up being the toys already exist by 1983. If you have a better guess, please let me know in the comments. Or hell, use my theory as a springboard.
Those clues were the big clues to solve the lore, you know what I mean? Like, that's... Pretty sure that meant something significant.
For your own theory. If I'm right, we gotta...
Anyone ever tell you look like an athletic math pat? No, never. Not once.
The last commenter?
Yeah. Literally, like, at least 5 times a video. But, I mean, it's a nice compliment. Matt Pat's a good-looking guy, so...
Rewrite the timeline anyway. The nights in FNAF 4 take place after FNAF 1 and before FNAF 3. Chop, get to making timeline graphics with this new info. Regardless of these details, I genuinely think my answer is correct. It's the single most narratively satisfying explanation I have seen for what was in the box. Which brings me on to an important question. How did it take this long? How come no one, not a single person, thought about this? I bet someone is watching this thinking, it was that simple? And yeah, that's how I felt when I realized it too. I was pacing up and down my living room when the answer hit me out of nowhere, like divine inspiration. And all it took was to look at FNAF 4 as a narrative, which is what it is. So why didn't anybody? Like I said, there are too many people who assume Scott changes the lore whenever someone figures it out.
So he did not go over why you would change the Foxy mask several times.
No.
So Scott said that the box contents have changed several times. Michael in the story, his narrative role has only grown stronger with each entry in the Afton saga. There's no reason to replace the mask.
Yeah. So, like, this is something that I think a lot of theory videos do. I think I've done it, where at the start of the video, you lay out a bunch of criteria, like, okay, so this thing has to be true, this thing has to be true, and this thing has to be true. But you write those because you've got a theory already, and you kind of go backwards. Or even if you're coming up with it, you define your own criteria for something being correct, right? So the first thing he did was like, okay, it has to be logical, it can't have come out before this date, and blah, 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 blah. And he kind of stated those as though they were just like empirical facts.
Yep.
But he left out that Scott said it had to change multiple times.
Exactly.
And so he kind of made his own criteria, and like I've definitely done it, and it's a thing that can happen, and if it works, it works. But I think in this case, it's missing a quite crucial part of that. I completely agree. I like with his assessment of FNAF 4 and what the story may have been. Maybe not completely, but like mostly, I agree with what he's saying about FNAF 4 and what it was. I think to me, it's just like the criteria that you've set out for what a theory explaining the box has to be is not something that I agree with. So I'm inherently I can't agree with the theory because you're basing it off of different criteria than I would.
Yeah. Unrelated, this is from Hoopla, sorry. Unrelated, but I came to a realization William sort of has ties to all the main 4, Shadow Freddy, Springtrap, Toy Chica, and Foxy Go Go Go. I think that all of the animatronics have their time with like Afton-isms, even like Toy Bonnie if you want, like RWQ.
Yeah.
I think he is. It makes sense for there to be allegories of him with those characters because they're not like his characters exactly, but it's his franchise. So I think you could have him represented by almost anything in it.
Keep us wrong because they just have no faith in Scott as a writer. Okay, real talk, seeing this tweet be posted shortly after I had this realization about the box was fucking hilarious. Like, you really used the worst possible example that fully proves that you are, in fact, illiterate, huh? Amazing. I see this type of thinking way too often about mysteries in games. There's a lot of this in Deltarune too, people insisting that the dumbest possible twist must be correct because it'd be the most unexpected outcome, leaving out the part that it'd also be the least satisfying outcome too. If you're a Deltarune fan, you know what I'm talking about. Too many people look at FNAF 4 not as a narrative, but as a malicious trick, and at Scott not as a storyteller, but as an asshole whose only goal is to make sure that you are wrong. But no, genuinely, this was a good twist with narrative setup that everyone happened to miss because they didn't give Scott enough credit as a writer. So for that, I'm sorry, Scott. I'm sorry this response is so late. I'm sorry that no one gave you enough credit to trust that you wouldn't stoop to a.
I'm sorry you can't write movies.
Granted, you did say that we're playing as a child in the Steam page, and I mean we kind of are, but still kind of a dick move.
I thought you said
I'm just blessed. I'm just really blessed. This isn't so much a thank you as just a. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to just be surrounded by just such an incredible.
To the puzzle was hidden in the background sounds in a game about listening to quiet audio cues. The entire gameplay loop of 4 is listening. How did no one get this? Seriously though, can we appreciate this? Scott actually crafted a really good twist, and everyone missed it because they assumed he was going for low-hanging fruit when the solution was integrated into the gameplay loop of the game perfectly. I also just want to point out that MatBat was right on the cusp of figuring it all out, and didn't. Multiple times. Real talk, you have no idea how frustrating it is to watch him almost realize the truth twice, only to get distracted by wrong theories both times. Just watch these clips with me and suffer.
So scientifically speaking, there is no single way the main character of FNAF 4 can be the Bite of 87 victim, like Scott seems to have indicated. Sure, the game could be about another kid, I guess, but that would be lame. No, this game is meant to be about the victim of the Bite of 87. The poor kid who wasn't just
entirely impossible for us to be playing as Dave. I think it's possible Dave could have experienced those nightmares though because of the the funny haha David room. So
attacked at the restaurant.
It's clearly designed after weird. David Murray's. We're gonna have to wait, but clearly the crying child has something to do with that room.
But continues to be tortured.
Because of Davidisms.
We talked about this on the Cassidy on the Sister Location podcast.
Yeah,
and we kind of I think I was listening back to it and I was like I can't I know what I'm saying, but I did a really bad job of explaining it. But I think we look at it and we go, oh, David Murray's room is the nightmare chamber room, therefore the crying child must have been in there. Like that's because we're connecting David Murray and the crying child. I think what we could say though is the nightmare chambers are based on the crying child's room, and the crying child's room is based on Dave Murray's room.
Yes.
It's not that the nightmare chambers are based on Dave Murray's room. It's the crying childs are based on Dave Murray's room, and then the nightmares are based on that.
Yeah,
and
but
the reason Michael gets put into it is to look like his brother's room, which just so happens to look like Dave's room. Right?
Well, I don't know. That's what we don't know if it's just so happens like that, because there are so many overlaps between Dave Murray and Dave Afton. So many. I have a 56%.
I think it's intentional, but but I think those are two set. I think the way Scott, if they were looking at it like, okay, we're building the story to tell people that Dave and Dave Murray are the same people, right? Scott might, because I've definitely heard it before that Michael is having dreams, because that's what this guy's arguing, is he's having dreams from the perspective of his brother.
Yeah.
Like you're getting picked up by these things that look like the bullies. You're in a room, you're small, you've got the toys around. It's supposed to be from his brother's perspective, so the room would look like his brother's room. So that's why the nightmare chambers look like Dave Afton's room. But Scott was saying, yes, they are based on his room, and his room is based on another room. You just didn't know that. But he's trying to connect those by what we already kind of understood about the nightmare chambers, not trying to change our perception of them. I think is how it works.
Okay.
Through nightmarish visions, dreams, coma-induced hallucinations,
dream
whatever.
theories.
Aggravating.
Because it is one of the final biggest questions of the franchise. The security guards, what role do they play in all of this, right? Because, you know, we're very familiar at this point with the names of Mike Schmidt and Jeremy Fitzgerald and Fritz Smith, thank you. Fritz Smith, the nameless person from FNAF 3. Yeah. You know, and this is a theory that I that crossed my head at one point, but I never really revisited or got back to. Is there a possibility that the brother from FNAF 4 could be all of those characters? Is there some likelihood that one of the characters that we're seeing in FNAF 4, I would assume it would have to be the brother, is it possible that that is the same guy across all those games?
Infuriating. Again, I love you, Matt Pat. I wouldn't be here writing this without you, but man, that's painful.
All right, I mean that was pretty good. I think I think it being a, what's it called? I think it being the Foxy mask is a good theory. I think the only problem you run into, and I do think it's a big problem, is that the contents of the box he doesn't address. The contents of the box have changed a minimum of twice, and I don't see how the Foxy mask would become less appropriate as more games came out. It would become more appropriate because Michael Afton as a character gets solidified more, becomes more of a narrative presence.
Yeah.
So that's my problem with the theory.
I think again, I agree with the idea that the brother is the player of the night segments. Like that's supposed to be the conclusion that you reach. My issue comes then with saying, so therefore in the box is the Foxy mask. I think the box, had we figured out the mic connection when 4 came out, the box could have been opened, and God Victim and whatever, the box could have been opened and it would have had something in it to tease part 5. Now whatever that was going to be changed in Scott's mind, and it seemed to be based on the fact that nobody figured out what 4 was about. So he went, okay, maybe this is a little bit too out there. I gotta ground this a little bit more. Okay, you know what? I'll focus on the brother part. Like that's the part that's important, you know. So people didn't really get that. So let me kind of focus in on that a bit more and ignore whatever I was going to do. So I don't even really know what I was going to put in that box, but I'll get back to it eventually. And then he just, because every time he kind of thought of a new idea, it didn't work when he tried to follow it.
Yeah. Pickle Pepper solved the box. Oh my god. It's just a piece put together. He literally told us what it was. That's what it was. It's a piece put together. Well, there you go. That easy.
Yeah.
Well, chat.
I think the video also, because it's about the box, is like, well, it's more about the idea of FNAF 4 and what FNAF 4 is about, but like Gibby is saying, he made a video like 3 years ago basically saying the exact same thing about it all being about Mike and how we should have figured that out. So when it's not specifically the answer about the box, the video is just kind of like, yeah, I agree. You know,
all right.
I think it's a well put together video. I think it's well written and fun.
I want to tell chat before everybody leaves.
I'd like to see more.
The original video is the pinned comment in the chat box. If you guys want to go to the original video and give a like and leave a comment or something nice, because this is this person's only video, so it is pretty impressive that they managed to get that many views on their first video. They got 17K.
That's a lot of views. And it's
really
like
good.
It's a good video. I think it's just we just kind of like
for a first video, it's very there's no question it's well made for a first video, especially.
Yeah,
my first video was dog. So okay, chat. That's probably gonna do it for today. If you want to, what's this? I'm not gonna watch it on stream, but what's the Fade in FNAF? Someone said.
Yeah.
Oh, this. I saw this in my recommended literally yesterday. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, I'll have to check that out. But yeah, chat. If you want to learn more about some box theories, Gibby and I did a podcast on it a while back, so you can watch that after the stream. Is there anything else you want to say, UG?
No, thank you to everyone. Thank you for having me on, and have a good night, everybody.
All right, goodbye, you chatting chuds. It's good being back. I'm glad I'm not dead. Maybe they'll get me next time. Oh wait, we got another donation.
Oh, one last donation.
Justin says, would it be the satisfying lens? At the time of FNAF 4, Mike and the Mask wouldn't have been satisfying and accepted, so he changed it.
See, I think he didn't say that he changed it because it was unsatisfying. He said he changed it because
the story, right?
Yeah, like the story changed, and he said that he basically said there wasn't anything in the box. He said that it was half of an idea, and that it didn't end up going anywhere. So I don't think he even knew what was in the box.
Oh, that's funny. He's like, I'm gonna make the box, and then I'll fill something with it later. So just to get several ideas.
It's literally a mystery box. It's literally a J.J. Abrams mystery box where you just say there's a mystery and figure it out later.
All right, wait. We can send them off with the Bye Bye song from Secret of the Mimic. That song's a banger. Here we go. Oh. Goodbye, chuds. Bye bye. Bye bye. Do 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 do. See you. Bye bye. Bye bye. On Wizards a Chud. Do do do. Bye bye. Bye bye. Gibby. Gibby is the devil incarnate. He tempted Jesus in the desert. I can't believe you tried to get Jesus to eat bread, Gibby. That was fucked up. I can't believe you told Jesus to jump off a cliff. That was messed up, dude. I can't believe you gave Eve that apple. That was low-key kind of fucked up. When you gave Eve that apple, Gibby. It's okay. All right, goodbye.
You snake.
Damn you. Okay, bye.